and our new alliance to increase our social media reach and our footprint as we have each and every week and continue to. And of course, this is the 27th of June. We're at Ferg Sports Bar and Grill, America's #1 sports bar, as rated by USA Today. We're is a 4-10 pitch, you said there, Joseph?
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Diamondbacks. A nice win last night. 6-1 was the final. And it started out 1-0, and then the bats had exploded. So we'll talk a lot about that. I'm Mike Rickard alongside Ben Botham, Ray Kennedy, Joe Geiger, Christian Sanchez, who just took a break from laboring out back. He's got a jam show. He's got a presentation tonight where he's anticipating 1,500. Give us a little update on that, Christian, because we know you only got about 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, thank you. We have one of the biggest group stage games of the World Cup, which is Colombia-Portugal, is decisive, right? If Colombia gets a tie or a W, they'll move on first on the group. So it'll set them nicely to play against the third place opponent. If Portugal wins, on the other hand, then they'll take the lead in the group. So a lot in play tonight, and we are expecting about 1,500 people. All the VIP tables are sold out. So
What time's the game start?
7:30.
7:30. What would you recommend as far as people getting down here?
4 or 5.
4 o'clock. Holy
yeah.
moly! And that's right when people are going to be walking over for first pitch against the Diamondbacks. This place is going to be crazy.
It's crazy it works out that way because we saw it last week. The baseball crowd was here. The baseball crowd walks out. The Knicks fans came in for the Knicks finals. And the same thing with our soccer. It's like the times have been lining up pretty nice.
Yes, but it is going to be very busy.
Did you ever? I was thinking some questions to ask you today. Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, think that you would be at the hub of the Colombian community, representing the World Cup and the host, and at this type of a venue in your wildest dreams?
Honestly, no, man. I was. It all started with an empanada, right? And a few years
What
ago,
flavor?
I was,
What flavor do you remember?
The beef and potato,
Okay.
the traditional one.
That's the name.
Back to the basics,
That's
baby.
the name of your biography, by the way. That's going to be your biography. It all
Beef
started
and
with an
potatoes.
Beef and
empanada.
potatoes.
No, it all started with an empanada.
And
I love it.
I like that.
it, yeah.
Ray will
But,
write it with you.
Yes, sir.
But no, I was in the corporate world. So I was in the corporate world for 15 years, head down, just doing the best I could.
Bored
And-
out of your mind.
Yeah, and then I was like, man, I want to do something for, with my
I
family.
want to wipe tables off at 11 o'clock in the
Right? I wanna be my own boss,
And it's steaming hot in Tampa, Florida. That's my goal.
Although counter that with being on the stage, shooting T-shirts into a crowd of packed soccer fans. So there's the good and the bad.
Oh, no, I love it, man.
Did you get to do that?
What's that?
Were you doing that?
Oh, yeah, and we're going to do it tonight, so
We got to have footage of this, man.
Yes, sir.
we will. We got a crew coming out.
Let's
so.
talk some serious soccer on the U.S. side, and I know you're heavily involved in that, and they had a bigger crowd. But as I said, there's more Americans, hopefully, in Tampa, Florida, and St. Pete than Colombians. You got about, what would you say, about 150,000 Colombians in the area?
Right around there.
That's a big number. However, if you take a look at the U.S. game the other night, pretty disappointing. As a soccer fan and someone that knows the game well, what were your thoughts on coach making the decision he made? And Joe, you can share this because I know you have an opinion too.
Well, for me,
I thought it was wrong from what little I know.
if it would have went the other way, we would be clapping
Exactly.
for him, But for me, it just tells you more about the type of mindset you need coming into these games because in the World Cup, you have very little room for any mistakes, right? So I feel like getting to a third game where you already know you're moving on to the next phase, it gives you an opportunity to try some stuff out, but at the same time, it can cost you 3 points. I think that it tells you that it's a very quick tournament, and you can't basically there's no room for error. So you have to be very present on every game because in the next round it's a knockout stage. You make a mistake, you're out of the tournament, and just like that is done. So, yeah.
And counter that with last night, Cape Verde. They're celebrating like
What,
it's a
what,
super.
what a story.
0-0 tie
Best
though,
story so
right?
far.
But they're celebrating, and I was telling Ferg, I said that
They
may-
advanced.
It's well, some Americans have problems rooting for a tie, but they don't realize they tied, and first team since 2010, their first time in the World Cup makes
Yep.
it to the knockout stage. But 0-0, and you pointed out last week's show that the goalie went from what 50,000 followers to 8 million. His mother was there last night, and you mentioned that too last week.
They
Christian.
barely have 50,000 on that island.
Exactly. It's the smallest.
country ever to advance into the knockout round.
And and they were in a very tough group. If you look at Uruguay, they're a scary team. I mean, they played a terrible World Cup. Fortunately for the goalkeeper, one of their best keepers in history, and just didn't have a good tournament. But you look at Spain, easily top 3 contenders for the World Cup, and then you have Cape Verde, and it's like you're almost automatically as a soccer fan you rule them out, and now they knocked out Uruguay and squeezed in there with 3 ties. But if
What's the story of this World Cup? Would you say the biggest story?
Cape Verde
Yeah.
for sure.
Perfect.
And just the goalkeeper Vosinha, his story, he can write a book about it now. I mean, he's 40 years old, basically wrapping up his
He's
career.
an OG.
He's
Yeah.
an OG. So the guy, I mean, I'm sure he's got a lot of stories to share, because to make it at 40, never gave up, kept knocking, and now they had a great World Cup qualifying. They knocked out Cameroon out of the African nations that can make it to the World Cup, and Cameroon historically is a very strong team. So it might be new to a lot of soccer fans that Cape Verde's in the map, but what they did to get to the World Cup is also part of the story. I mean, the World Cup starts the moment you start playing the World Cup qualifiers, and to get to the World Cup, you have to go through a lot of games. So for them to keep it up in the World Cup and tie against Uruguay and Spain, it's a story in itself.
But can you tie your way into a championship?
No.
Is it like I don't get it. Tying's like kissing your sister. So
I'm
I'm
muting your mic. You know that little.
Well, I just don't get it.
Come on, baseball
Joe,
man.
They've tied what? You said 3 times?
Yeah, the group stage, basically you move on based on
Points.
the points that you have on your group. But now on
But
the
they didn't
knockout
score enough
stage,
points to win.
They
But-
tied the games.
but
They
they
actually the game against Uruguay. So the thing is, they didn't have just 2-0-0 ties. They also had a 2-2 game against
Right.
Uruguay, which is Uruguay is one of the best defensive teams
Yes.
in the world, and to be able to put and it was like they came back into it. So they showed that they can also score. But against Spain, I mean, the fact that they were able to. It was a miracle that goalkeeper.
That was the first game, one of the first games of the tournament where people were like, dang.
Yeah, what
Spain
happened?
was supposed to probably win that game 5-0. And they could
Easily.
have, but the goalkeeper kept them in it.
Well, Mike, you asked what's the story of this 2026 World Cup, Ben. I would say it's that even as Messi scores a hat trick and he becomes the leading scorer in the history of World Cup, right?
We kind of expected that.
Right, but I mean, that's not even top 3 stories in this World Cup. You got Cape Verde, you got America doing great, you got the competitions all over, and you got Americans embracing across this entire country. And I think that's your big story. It's been a fantastic tournament, and it continues tonight with Colombia.
Oh, I agree. One last thing about Cape Verde, they're facing Argentina, so we'll have
Studs.
the best player in the world. He's on fire right now, and we have a very strong goalkeeper who's basically, I don't know what he's doing, but whatever he's doing, just got to keep doing it, because no one's scoring on him. It's very hard to get past Cape Verde.
Well, and one of the things about their story, taking on in Argentina, their success already took place. The emotional impact, can they get up again for an Argentina? That's always a tough thing after an upset.
Right. I don't know about beating Lionel. I don't see it happening.
Not
but
the way he's playing right now.
yeah, but I didn't see Cape Verde getting a tie against Spain or getting a
Yeah.
2-2 tie with Uruguay. So it's like we don't know. I mean, they
And
might
again,
keep
the
going.
goalie could just keep him in the game again. He could have another insane performance.
Because you could
And all it
to your
takes is-
point,
Yeah.
they could tie the game, but at the knockout stage you would have to go to PKs and decide a winning team. But it might be another chapter in Vosinha's book if he gets past Argentina. That would be incredible.
It would be
Let me
Hey,
tell ya.
do me a favor over there on the production crew. Make sure during these soccer conversations that you don't pan over to Ben Botham
Yeah.
and watch his
No,
face
I need-
and watch his facial expressions, Anyway,
I need a shirt that says I'm rooting for a tie. Like I just don't get
You're
it.
rooting
But
for a tie if you need 1 point to become the smallest country ever.
No,
to advance
that-
to the World Cup knockout round.
that's spectacular for
time
them.
ever.
I am so happy for them. I know all
hey,
the players.
think about this.
My jersey's on the way. I can't
Shut
wait.
the yapper. Think about this. The U.S. has scored 8 points,
Yeah.
and that's the most points they've ever scored.
But didn't we lose against
And we're-
Turkey?
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
but
I'm
we were
talking about
sitting
points
a lot
here.
of people. But also, don't forget, there's 12 extra teams this year because they
And
extended
we played
the
9
field.
different guys that hadn't been in the
Right.
Turkey is
rotation
actually
before.
supposed to be the team that the U.S. had most trouble with.
Exactly.
In that group, they were supposed to be the sleeper team that a lot of people were concerned about winning the group, but
Yeah.
they had a horrible first 2 games where they couldn't score, and then the U.S.
And that was
they
their
did
Super
sit,
Bowl.
Like
Do you see this diversity?
Or-
He can talk baseball and soccer. You know, you are in a little corner
Yeah.
with your breadth of knowledge.
Well,
Start expanding.
I'm expanding. I got ping pong. I got
Midget wrestling in your basement.
If you can bet on it, Ben's on it.
Exactly.
I like last week the narrative. Ben was sitting in your chair last week. Did a great job, by the way. And
He did a superb job.
Ben was asking
Thank
how.
God I own the company, or my ass would have been gone.
Ben's like, how do I?
Adam's like, can you stay longer? Any way you want to take the summer off?
Oh, go to Maine. Shipyard. Let's go.
He'll ship me anywhere. What are you talking about?
Well, Ben asked, how's a layman like me, basically, I'm paraphrasing, like soccer, and as I'm doing that reel, I'm cutting it out, and you hear Joe's voice going, just put on a jersey and root for America, you jerk. It's like, well, there you go. That's one way.
Red, white, and blue, baby.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. Yeah, but you just don't see these guys.
You got a deadhead
No,
shirt on. And
it's not. It's dirty heads. It's dirty heads.
Dirty heads, whatever. the
Very
hell.
different.
And then Denali hat on. You
Yeah.
really look like a sports guy. Why don't
Well,
you go down to the park and start smoking some weed with these guys?
I get some fresh air. But no, I just wish that I knew who these people were that are on the team.
How about studying it?
Well,
Look-
no, I
Who
should.
cares? They're Americans.
I should be able
Thank
to.
you, Joseph.
Well, okay, you're right. Yes, all right.
And you realize right now that we're just a few days away from celebrating America's 250th birthday. So
Exactly.
get on board.
No, it's not that I'm not on board. Like I'm rooting for those soccer players. I can't wait to see them win it all. But as soon as America's out, I don't know what to do.
Well, a lot of people will be that way, and I mean it's just an emotional thing. So tonight, 7:30.
Yeah.
First
the game
kick.
will start 7:30. We've been getting calls from a lot of people are driving from Orlando, Lutz, Wesley
Orlando?
Chapel, Bradenton. Yeah, this is the biggest
This is the
watch party
This
aside
is the
from
magnetism that Christian Sanchez has, and his empanada little empire, and Mark Ferguson, who I told you the last World Cup was kind of lukewarm. We were getting ready to do a show, and he said, "Do you think I should be open in the morning?" I said, "Yeah, I do think so." And then he got bombarded, and I can't remember what country was.
Argentina against
was it
France.
Argentina? Yeah.
Against France. One of the best finals
Yeah,
in World
and he
Cup
was just
history.
smiling. Now he's a huge soccer fan. He probably can't keep score either, with the exception of looking at his deposits every day.
I actually stopped and talked to Mark this morning. I was talking about Cape Verde and going into depth, and he knows, but he really didn't want to talk about soccer. But I want to back
He
Ben up.
doesn't know a damn thing about it.
Well, no.
except it's great for business.
Well, he's great. I want to back Ben up, though. Ben, you were giving you some
He
grief about
needs
the
backup.
soccer. We were at the Saltwater Hippie last night, and we were sitting there having a few libations, and we actually had about a 45-minute chat on the American Constitution and history of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington. So, I
Yeah, we
mean,
did.
I want to stick up for him.
How many libations in were you for that?
I had enough that I was trying to make a case that, no, I'm just kidding. I had a couple, but it was a good night. But yeah, we were talking some history out there with the history teacher, Mr. Van Valten.
All right, my man. Well, I know you got a lot to do. If I was you, I'd keep talking a little longer and get some more air conditioning. But I'm sure you're getting
High
plenty.
expectations. So
I'm sure that there's a lot of anticipation. How's the wife dealing with all this? Because
We're-
you're living here.
yes, I mean we got to be able to handle pressure. If not, then we go back to a desk, go back to the corporate world. So
Well, you're not going backwards now that you're in this family.
No, and I have one more question, too. I want to go ahead and while we're on here, tell the viewers out there in Radio St. Pete that Wednesday night we will have the same watch party down here for USA. Who do they call for VIP tables for that? Or are we going to do all that, too?
the U.S. honestly, because of the amount of people that are coming in, we won't be able to do the VIP tables. But for the other games, like Argentina, Mexico, and the Ecuador game, as well as the other Colombia game, we will have it. But just because of the amount of people we had for the
Yeah.
U.S.,
Oh, it was
we would
crazy.
take up too much space.
There was
but-
no space out here.
Yes.
But I want to go ahead and mention that those VIP tables you've got set up just happen to be the best spots in Ferg's backyard to watch the game all around the
Oh, yeah.
action. So if you want a place to sit comfortable, have your space, but yet be in the middle of the maelstrom, go ahead and get one of them VIP tables.
How much
out
would
here.
it
Yes.
cost me to get one right now for Ben Botham and his gang
Oh.
of boobs from
Free. I
Oh.
got you guys.
Oh.
See,
You
all
guys
right,
can
all
sit
right.
with me.
I'm not against soccer. Like I don't want anybody thinking I'm anti-soccer
All,
or
all
I'm
I
not
got,
into
all
it.
you got to do is go to our
But-
YouTube channel and watch the
No.
conversations, and it
No, but
speaks for itself.
let me explain my. I just don't get it. They're just
You
kicking
don't
it-
wanna get
no,
it.
They're just kicking it back and forth. I don't understand.
I didn't like it either.
I just don't get it. I'm like, just kick the damn thing into the goal.
Bill,
What's the
let me
issue?
let me say this to you: billions of people love soccer.
Well,
Billions, not millions.
Well, there's a billion people wrong because baseball's here and it's baseball.
He-
Like, I don't know what to
he
say.
is baseball.
But
Ben Botham.
I do need
We're
to
never
figure.
changing it.
I got to figure it out more. As somebody who doesn't know a lick about soccer, how do I get more engaged into it? What do I need to know in order to?
I know
actually get into
I
this?
know the answer for him.
What, 15
He needs
beers?
to find some beautiful Latino gal,
Yes.
and he would do whatever she wants. And Ben, I love soccer.
Let's go.
Me too. Let's roll.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
That'll
way to
probably be
change
the
Ben
easiest
Botham.
way in, yeah.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. That's
Work on that.
Yeah, let me know what you come up with. I'll be waiting.
all
I
right.
can help with that.
Well, Christian, we'll let you go. Your prediction on the U.S. next week?
I think they're gonna go through.
You think mentally they're going to come
against
back from this?
Bosnia,
They're
you know,
fine.
Bosnia is a strong team, but I feel that the U.S. for sure. I mean, they tried.
That was
new
my only
stuff.
concern was the mental process of it.
I think they went in knowing they were gonna try different stuff. They were already through the next round, moving first in the group. So, you know, if they wanted to try things, this was the game to try. And I think they're gonna come out very strong again against Bosnia and do what they did in the first two games. So I think they're gonna move on.
I think that game gave them a chance to relax. You're going to sit your guys. That was their, like I said, it was their World Cup. They didn't even make it. They didn't even qualify for the knockout, right? So they're playing us. We sit our guys down. I think it gives us the luxury of sitting back and getting rested, going into this game knowing we got to just start from scratch. We're not going in. We didn't give our best and almost lose or win.
That's right.
So did that game just not matter at all?
No, I mean it did matter, but
In
essentially.
the grand scheme of things, no, it did not matter.
Right.
But
So
this
are we
was
still
the World
able to
Cup.
play England on July 4th in
It's
Philadelphia?
not happening.
It's
Oh,
not happening
it's not
now?
happening. But, Ben, it mattered to about 3,000. I don't know how many people were out here Thursday night for that USA game. It mattered to everyone. I haven't seen that much red, white, and blue in I don't know how long. So
Because that was what I was looking forward to. Honestly, I was waiting for July 4th, 1776 to happen all over again, and the Americans to kick those British
We
behinds
still
off
could
the field.
Play them at some point.
Yeah, but on July 4th, that would have been legendary. Are you kidding me? Have a bunch of guys come out in colonial garb. You know, the military coming out there. Have the Betsy
See,
Ross
there's a
flag.
reason to get behind soccer, my man.
Yeah, but apparently that's not happening now.
Don't worry.
don't worry, Iraq is still in there. And
It'll be plenty.
Oh yeah, that.
we'll get someone to beat up. And with Trump president, we get another 4 years. We'll be making everybody enemies. We'll just we'll be playing an enemy every week with the World Cup soccer.
All right. We'll let him go. Maxi Empanadas right here in the corner, 13th and Central, across from Tropicana Field. We're at 410. First pitch, Diamondbacks in town, and a lot of people will be stopping by, grabbing an empanada. You got to crank them out on a game like that because you're feeding the people in pregame, postgame, and then you're getting ready for your
I
for
got a
your
big crew
shindig.
tonight. We'll be good. Send everyone.
You need a fry cook?
Oh,
Yeah.
you want to come in?
Yeah.
Start
I'll work.
warming up.
I don't get paid over the summer.
Oh, hey.
Let me know.
All he wants is a few cocktails and
That's easy. We'll get it done.
and find him a hot
Together.
Latino lady.
And
They'll
no
all
view
be in
soccer.
the corner there, so
There you go,
Oh, yeah,
Benny boy.
be like fishing in a bucket.
When do I
fishing
when do
in
I
the
clock in?
When do I?
You can't even talk. Whoa, what time should I be there? All right. Thanks for stopping by,
Thank you,
Christian.
guys.
You're
See you
doing an
tonight.
amazing job, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Bravo. Let's give him a round of applause here, guys.
There we go.
I mean, he has been kicking ass.
Thank you, guys.
You know what? Mark Ferguson probably. Good work.
Is that a new? Is that a new clapping effect? I
That's
like
just-
that one.
Mark Ferguson probably has adoption papers put together with your name on them, right?
After the World Cup,
That's my
a big
son.
possibility.
Yeah, that's Christian.
my kid.
Yeah. All right, brother.
I
Thank you
wouldn't
very,
mind.
thank
All
you
right,
very,
guys.
very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's thank some of our sponsors, of course. Body Armor, Coca-Cola, they've been with us for almost 4 years now, and then we're bringing another one of their labels onto the scene, and that is Monster Energy Drinks, just what I need for these guys.
Unleash
they're-
the beast.
Actually, there's some Saturday mornings I do need Monster Energy Drinks if they have been at the where were we at last night?
Saltwater Hippie.
Saltwater
Mike,
Hippie.
I will say this about Monster Energy drinks. It's like the official drink of teachers at Seminole High School. They're pounding these white monsters. It's unbelievable. The white monsters. It's like
It
rocket
sounds like
fuel.
a drug. Don't make it sound like a drug.
No, it's not. It's
Hey,
like
did you
rocket
get-
fuel. It's delicious.
Hey, did you get that kid down the hall's got white monsters for you?
Yep.
This is what we're going to be promoting on
Yeah.
all of our shows, and we're going to have monster giveaways.
They were out back during the men's game or USA game, and they were giving them out. They were the red, white, and blue cans, right? I don't know what flavor.
They
that
weren't
is.
supposed to be here, but I told them to come.
They were good. I got two.
I told them, yeah, we'll get the red, white, and blue cans.
Yes, sir.
Hey, if you see these red, white, and blue cans anywhere, grab one for a prop, or I'll do it for the rest of the week. In fact, so Wednesday we're going to be doing the show, right?
Wednesday we'll be doing a show down
then-
here for the watch. Yeah,
And then we are going to do a 4th of July show. Are you up for it?
Like on 4th of July?
On the 4th of July.
oh, it's Saturday.
I'm making
morning.
a party.
I mean, I'm lighting off some fireworks on the 4th of July. What time are we talking about?
We're talking about in the morning,
Oh, in the morning.
11 to 1.
Oh, okay.
You can light off fireworks in here if you want.
Okay.
I'm
Hey.
getting the hell out of here.
Can I bring some sparklers?
Yeah, you bring sparklers.
I got a great plan. Ben, whoever your friend is that lives at 400 Central or whomever between here and Al Lang, we start here with the show. We celebrate here all day. Then we make our way down for the July 4th Rowdy's game
Give me their-
at Al Lang.
Give me their name. I'm going to warn them. Hey, don't let them go in your bathroom and fall down and break lamps. And,
Oh, wait. No, that lamp was falling before I got there.
Yeah.
that was just
I
three,
breezed by
three
it.
short years ago. I had a nice friendly party, and then Ray and Ben come.
Well, I was great during the party, Mike. What are you talking
My
about?
mother thought you were the bomb. I'm like,
Yeah, you're damn right she did.
she did.
I had a
like
great
that.
time.
Well, she was a teacher, near a teacher.
Well, I got to be honest. When you came back in the bedroom and I'm trying to piece the lamp back together so you wouldn't know I broke it, that's probly when you were
Whoa, I
a little
did-
misgiven with me.
Not
Yeah,
I.
I was coming in to grab a tray as I was the host, and I'm watching some boob try to put this
Put a lamp back together.
trying to put this lamp back together. I go, Ray, just lay it down.
I completely missed this. When did this happen?
I had a lampshade
Well,
on
you
my
missed
head.
you missed a lot that
He was
day,
out
pal.
He was out flirting with Mom out in the front there.
Yeah.
That's where you were,
Yeah.
Ben.
Was
You
I
met
really?
Mom.
Yeah, he was letting mom think he was just
She's
the
the
perfect
best.
kid and teacher. Hey, we're gonna talk to our buddy Rick Vaughn here a little bit in about 10 minutes, and of course he's got the 100 years of baseball. St. Petersburg's waterfront, a great publication right now to talk about. You've read it 3 times now,
Love it.
and it is a big as far as I'm concerned, hot potato that they leave the area and you're going to completely walk away from the history of baseball in this community. That cannot happen,
Well,
and it should not happen.
did you see the mayoral debates here for the city of St. Petersburg? We got at least one candidate saying that he wants to fight to keep the Rays here in St. Petersburg, not just Tampa Bay. He talked about the process that went into building Tropicana Field, the old gray lady, and saying how it was like in Field of Dreams. You build it and they will come.
They will come. Yep.
And what do you know? We got our team and we shouldn't let go of them. And, I'm not a political guy, but Charlie Crist is saying that he wants to keep them here. And you know what? It don't take a lot to sway my vote if you say you're going to keep the Rays.
Well, brush the dust off of Charlie because he's been in politics
Yeah, for a
Governor,
while.
senator,
far too long,
congressman.
changed
Yeah.
parties
Multiple times, yeah.
Unfortunately, I just don't think he's got the clout. And this is a young community now.
Yeah.
The demographic. Just look at Fergs.
But I like that he's bringing up the conversation.
I love it.
Letting them know that
I'm
hey,
an old
this
guy. I
is
can
still
bring
on
up
the table.
conversations, but that doesn't mean it's going to move the,
Well,
the
no,
needle.
but here's
No.
the thing, though, is that I'm be honest with you. You got Welch out front there. You got Figs, and you have a couple of others. And I think that even if Charlie thinks he's a long shot at this point, him bringing the narrative up, it definitely puts it where it'll put the other ones on a narrative. Because don't forget, no one in Pinellas County has said, oh, you ain't coming back here. We've just said, okay, you've made your mind up. There's still that contract that stands through 2027. I think that the mayoral race, I'd rather see them talk about why they should keep the baseball team than to try to tell me the dreams they have for the entire gas plant and how they're going to make that right. Because the two are one and the same, but let's keep business.
That's Ray Kennedy. Across from him is Joe Geiger. Of course, he'll be gone this weekend. You're going to Houston, see a little Astros, and then you're going to go see the Rangers.
We are crossing a couple stadiums off.
How many stadiums have you been in America?
28.
Jeez.
Yeah.
What are the
Holy
two?
moly.
What are the two you haven't
I'd
been
like to have Larry
Texas and
Larry
Colorado.
Geiger as your dad.
Yes.
He's like a big kid.
He's the best.
You guys want to go? What are you going to say? No, thanks.
You guys doing a road trip or are you guys flying
They
out
do-
there?
We're flying.
Oh, bad news bears. Why you got to go in the
'Cause
tin
our
can?
whole family's coming.
Yeah, back them in the back of the station
Hey, right
wagon.
now I'm station
Big
wagon.
family.
It took me 13 hours to get back on Thursday night from Tulsa, Oklahoma, through delays. And, don't get me going.
Would you take the Wells Fargo wagon?
Yeah, I should have. I was in that.
That's the real
that neck of the
American
woods.
trip, though, Mike.
It is kind of cool. there.
I like it. Like when I did the trip up to Cooperstown, you got to drive. You got to experience the country. You know, and I will say that I'll bring it back to the World
You're going to
Cup
be my
for-
driver next time, though.
deal. I'll be your chauffeur, like driving Miss Daisy around.
Yeah,
It'll
I'll
be
sit in
great.
the back and go, pull over, I got to pee again.
It's like Dumb and Dumber with the floppy wings and you two traveling down the highway, but let's go.
But I'll
Speak for yourself.
I'll say this about the World Cup. What I've loved is seeing these Europeans coming around, experiencing our
Exactly.
country,
Good point.
and finding out the great aspects of it. The food, the people, the roadside attractions. Like they're finding what makes our country great, and I love that. And I think that's
And
what's
we're not
magical
the
about a road
enemy
trip.
of Europe. And they're going back and telling the story to their fellow countrymen, saying, listen, they engaged us. They embraced us.
Yes.
It's a great country. And you POS is on your liberal side over there, bad mouthing America. You hate Donald Trump. I don't give a damn. We're gonna have another president. But it's the fiber of America
Yes.
that they embrace and they love. So.
And don't forget, the best part of that is that it's given us, and it's happening, guys. It's happening across the entire country. It's given us a creative license to look at them, how they're looking at us, and we took the things for granted. The little things like, again, the refillable bowl of Mexican chips or the salsa beans or
little things
Buc-ee's.
like that. And I was
Chick-fil-A
talking to
chicken minis.
I was-
God,
Right.
I love
Yeah.
those.
Chicken mini.
I was talking to a Englishman in the Tulsa airport, and he travels a lot. He said, I did not realize, we had this conversation, I did not realize, I bought him 4 cocktails while I drank water. That was fun. Anyway, I said, I did not realize, he said, until my first trip here, how dynamic the cuisine is here versus England. I've been to
What,
England one
he
one
tried
time.
a Cuban sandwich here at Ferg's?
It's a lot better than some
Empanada.
fish and
Or an
chips.
empanada, excuse me.
See?
They are Cuban. But anyway, how bland our food really is. And it is in England. I've been there, and it's meat and potatoes. And then they just talked
Yeah.
about all the engagement. When you've traveled, and when you're in Germany, it's not real.
Oh, that food was terrible.
It is.
Boy, I just wanted some steak and shake or something.
I love steak and shake.
I'm a steak and shake guy. I love the steak and shake fries.
When are we
Best
doing
fries
our
right there.
Yes, they are. Best fries in
When
America.
are we doing our European vacation? Are we going to take the show on the road to go to Europe? Check out some, I don't know,
College
rugby?
game day
Check-
style.
Yeah,
Outside
it'd be
the
fun.
Rome
Check out some
Coliseum
guy's
or
wife
something.
doing a porn
Hello.
show.
With our,
Whoa.
with our
I
meta
don't
glasses?
think we needed to do that.
No.
Well, it reminds me, we used to go to Epcot, and we'd always go to Germany. You want to go to eat in Germany, or was it Disney?
I drank in Germany.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
do
mean-
the eating.
Yeah, you drink and eat pretzels in
Well, it was a
Germany.
smorgasbord, and my wife loved it. We'd go all the time, but I'd have to look. I'd look at the entire smorgasbord. I'm like, oh, there's mashed potatoes. Everything else is just like European.
My,
and it's
my,
got
my,
weird
my
tastes.
ex-wife used to get so damn mad. I was back in my throw a few hundred down a day, and I'd say, yeah, we're going to Epcot, and I would take the longest route to the bathroom. My kids were, in strollers.
Oh,
So
you were doing
I'll
shots.
be right back.
Goldschlager in
I would
Germany.
sprint over to Germany, or I'd sprint over to Mexico and throw down a few.
I went to Epcot, Mike. Mexico, it probably has the best drinks. Mexico,
Oh, by far.
and Italy. Italy's got the limoncello. They got the espresso martinis.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
So
me?
don't tell me it's just family time. I was rocking and rolling, and she'd be like, "Are you okay today?" Al, you betcha.
I'm doing great.
Yeah, that's my Epcot. Hey, you're watching us on our YouTube channel, of course, the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection. Wonderful production work being done by our gang, of course, and that Jacob. If you want to meet him, girls, all you got to do is go to the Chick-fil-A. What Chick-fil-A location are you at where you're handing out autographs and your phone numbers, you little creeper?
Whoa.
Hey,
It's my pleasure.
Mike, game is game. Come on.
Yeah, there you go.
He's on OnlyFans. but-
and Adam Fernandez, and of course Ray's son and protege, and that is Tristan Kennedy. These guys do a superb job. We are on YouTube, and what we really need, folks, and we're going to put a lot of energy into this the rest of the summer. We got 2 months left. We have got to get followers. We're getting views. We're blessed. We're getting views. We're getting great content. We're going to expand that, but we need people to like and subscribe. So that we can become a better presence of what's going on from a positive perspective. We have fun on this show. And then, like in the second hour, we're going to talk to Chris Harvey, talk a little local high school and what's going on with the football classification, and he'll break it down for us. We'll talk to Peter Gollenbach. He's now a resident down here, and he's an accomplished author, and talk baseball and the halfway mark, which you guys are going to love, for the Rays. And, the June swoon really didn't kick our ass that bad as it has in the past.
They floated right up at 500, and right
What's
now,
his success relative to the
what
last
we
couple of
needed-
years?
Which is what we kind of need to do the rest of the way, honestly. And they're starting to pick it up. The offense finally broke out of a little slump. Caminero finally.
How about this Caminero kid?
I mean, look, that blowout loss on what was it, Tuesday night?
But we reversed it on him.
12-5, and Junior hits a useless homer in the 8th inning to make it 12-2. But look how much it helped maybe his
ignited him.
confidence, and then boom, next day he hits 3 homers.
Well, it isn't Monday when they start the All-Star voting?
Well, he's made
Well,
it to
they've
the
already
second
had
round.
it.
He's leading. He's
They
leading.
have like the second phase,
The
but it's a
second phase.
joke. It's all
right.
Canada and the Dodgers.
I do
It's
not.
such a joke. Yandy Diaz not even close. Are you kidding me? Look at the numbers he's putting up. He's not even close to being an
Well,
all-star.
Caminero becomes the first Rays third baseman and make 2 consecutive All-Star games back to back. But you're right. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
it's-
there's a lot of people.
cool.
I don't like the way the voting.
People shouldn't have a choice in the All-Star ballots.
I agree.
It should just be the Baseball Writers Association of
Yes.
America. The same people.
Well, nobody's
who-
going to be happy either way.
No, but at least then there's some kind of governing body instead of there's 50 billion people in California and they're all going to vote for every single Dodger, and then the same with the Yankees, and there's always going to be the Yankee-Dodger bias. I understand
And the
that.
Blue Jays. What is up
well,
with They
yeah.
suck.
Well, they have an entire
Yeah, I
But
know.
all of Canada, though, and it's
It-
annoying.
Yeah, good point.
It's unbelievable. So it has to actually come down to some kind of objective group. And I know the baseball writers aren't always the most objective. They have their biases.
There's a lot of
But-
curmudgeons.
Yeah, but I kind of like that about the baseball writers.
cream-
Well, you like old stuff.
yeah, I
And you
do.
know what?
I'm
though?
an old guy.
The cream will rise to the top when the baseball writers vote for it, and maybe this way you won't have some idiot when you're doing a Hall of Fame vote that one guy has to be the one person that doesn't let him be unanimously get into the Hall
Well,
of Fame, right?
Now that I hate.
no,
maybe
no,
you could
no.
flip. Well, you like that, Ben? You should.
Did Babe Ruth get a unanimous vote into the Hall of Fame? No. Did Ty Cobb? No. Did I don't know, any of the what was his name? I don't even know. I hate the argument saying that the baseball writer system for electing them into the Hall of Fame is broken and it doesn't work. There's a million ways to get in there. Some people deserve to take longer to get into the Hall of Fame because guess what? You're not as good as Babe Ruth or Ty Cobb. Hell, you're not as good as Mariano Rivera or Derek Jeter. And that's the hard reality. It should be hard to get into the Hall of Fame. And I'm tired of people saying like, oh, but he had a really good 3-year stretch. I don't care. So did Dan Quisenberry. And is anybody fighting for Dan Quisenberry
Only
to get in
you.
there?
Only you.
Only man.
Exactly. It's just
The
me.
side armor.
Yeah, he had the best 5 years in baseball history in terms of reliever. The only person that beat him was Mariano Rivera. But nobody's, banging the drum, leading the charge, saying that he
For
needs to
Quiz?
go in
Yeah.
there. It's a silly argument, and the people that think that it's broken aren't real baseball fans. They're the TikTok fans that want to go see the Savannah Bananas some more. And it drives me nuts. And I respect the Bananas. I respect them for keeping people somewhat engaged in baseball. But
Well, that's the point I was going to make when we had this before we went on the air. It is keeping people in some capacity engaged in the sport, whether you like it or not, and it's keeping the young families, and they enjoy the entertainment. Hey, while we're talking Hall of Fame, as I looked over here on the wall, and we see Pete Rose, and he, of course, was here 2 years ago, about this same time. I went upstairs, didn't want to bug him. I had been blessed to meet him on several occasions. But how long does it take Pete down to get in?
never.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's never going to get in.
You don't think?
No.
He's blacklisted.
Yeah, I mean, same with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Is he going to get in the Hall of Fame? No. There's a bunch of guys that have been banned from baseball for whether it's cheating or gambling or.
But Otani can do it.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
that's-
Good point, Joe.
Otani should, and I said this live on the radio, Otani should have been banned from Major League Baseball for the rest of his life for gambling on baseball. I don't care
He
how.
didn't gamble.
No, yeah, you're right.
That was his middleman.
It's my
That was his
translator.
commodity. That was his commodity broker.
Yeah, that's a load of crap. There's no way, and I
We
get.
all know that.
I get that he's a rich guy and you made a lot of money, and maybe yen to dollar doesn't make sense yet in your head. But when, what was it, $20 million goes
Enough to be
missing?
like,
16.2 million.
Yeah, I don't. There's
like you
no.
noticed that a little bit.
You're not Elon Musk
Yeah.
with $1 trillion and you have no clue where 20 million went. No, you're a baseball player, and if I saw $100 missing out of my account, I would.
However,
$20 missing.
he had a personal relationship with this dude who effed him, and
No, that did his bidding.
but at the same time,
Allegedly.
allegedly, and at the same time, he is a young guy and fairly naive.
And Shoeless Joe Jackson wasn't a guy who
You
couldn't
can't
read.
compare Shoeless Joe
Yes,
Jackson.
Yes, you can. Shoeless Joe Jackson
Otani.
could outrun him, could do all kinds of things, had an
Oh,
arm.
my God.
He was a hell of a hitter.
Oh, my
and
God.
he had a spectacular 1919 World Series performance, even though he did take the money. But he still played a hell of a World Series, and I think it was like a 9-game World
Look at
Series.
Joe's face looking at you.
And he had a cool name.
You're damn right.
What, shoeless? Oh, Joe.
Yeah.
So I don't see Pete Rose getting in. And-
Grover Alexander was better than Nolan Ryan.
Oh.
okay.
Are we going to start making these comparisons?
I mean, if you're talking about like Walter Johnson being better than a majority of the pitchers in the league,
the value of his card is better than
okay, but let me just say this: if I'm Pete Rose, if I'm his family, if I'm his descendants, and I want to be remembered, I'd rather be remembered as the guy who didn't get into the Hall of Fame and deserves to be in there.
Because they're always talking about it.
Exactly.
He's relevant in
There's
conversations.
there's hundreds of people in the Hall of Fame that you have no clue who they are, and they're great
and
ball
you're never going to
players.
forget. Well, here we are talking Shoeless Joe Jackson. and
Exactly.
People wouldn't know who the hell he was.
But can you name many other, Black Sox players? Not really.
Believe it or not, I'm a little busier than that. You, the historian, could.
I could, yes, but I'm saying a majority of people can't, but they remember Shoeless Joe Jackson because he was a phenomenal player and he got screwed. And he couldn't read. So how is he supposed to understand these things? He got screwed by his lawyers.
Well, now you're making the Otani argument because he doesn't speak English.
Exactly.
Yeah, his
Very
dad,
good, very good, Ray.
his translator's the one telling him. Anybody knows how to say put it on black.
Hard Rock Bet, you can just switch it from English to Japanese.
Oh, Joe. You're still sticking up for Shoeless Joe, Joe.
Got to, man.
Say it ain't so.
Saying he's so, Joe. What'd they get? $5,000 each for that payoff? I think was the in that 29.
A lot of them didn't.
Hey,
get
boys, I got
paid.
to interrupt for a quick. Take a look, see if Rick Vaughn's trying to get in. He says he can't get in.
But a lot of them didn't get paid, and that they got screwed. And yeah, they did
Pay
throw the
attention to
World
that.
Series, but guys, excuse me, but guys like Shoeless Joe played a hell of a World Series. And you look at the stats, he played better than a majority of the Rays did in our 2 appearances in the World Series.
Yeah, and it was a changing world in 1919. I mean, that's the reason why you started
There he
needing
is.
more.
We're getting.
He was there, now
I
there
heard
he
him.
is.
We're getting Rick Vaughn on.
Can you hear me?
Of
There he
course.
is.
Can you hear us?
I can.
All right, brother. Well, we've got loud and proud the 100 years of baseball, St. Petersburg
Nice.
waterfront, and that's, of course, Rick Vaughn, former communications director of the Baltimore Orioles, as well as our Tampa Bay Rays, and now he's involved with the John Madden Foundation and work in the homeless community, which I respect tremendously. And now I'm back in the saddle. I'll jump on board that cause in the rest of the year here, Rick. How are you, my man? How you've been following the grandkids play a lot of Little League ball?
Yeah. Enjoy being a grandfather. I spend a lot of time with the homeless empowerment program in Clearwater, working with those folks, and I actually am still scoring minor league baseball games after many, many, many years. So I'm an employee of the Philadelphia Phillies because I score the Clearwater Threshers games. So I'm enjoying that.
One of the best places to go see a game. Dollar beer nights on Tuesdays.
Yeah, Rick,
Tues-
you're going to be out. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Rick, you're going to.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you're going to be out there tonight at Baycare Park.
No, I actually do the midweek games, and I have somebody I share the responsibilities. But Tuesdays are crazy out there. It's dollar beer, dollar hot dog, dollar everything really, and they get about 4,500 people out there for those games. Most of the time it's 1,000, close to 1,000.
Hey, I'm there almost every Tuesday for those games, and I'll tell you what, I do when they give you the program, I do the score sheet a little bit sometimes, and on Tuesdays, it gets a little sloppy. Sometimes an inning might get missed, an at-bat might have a couple extra strikes than they deserve.
What do they have on tap that's $1? Falstaff?
No.
Hams, Schlitz.
I think Schlitz is out of business now.
It is out of business. That saddens me. That keeps you involved in the game of baseball. I know how much you love it. How long you been doing that?
Well, I left the Rays. It's been almost 10 years ago, and I probably have been doing it for about the last 6 or 7.
Hey, wait a minute. As we see it in your backyard, looks like you got a pool. Who's the little guest that keeps licking your?
I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't find any
that's
other
its
place.
name.
That's Ivy. That's one of our rescue dogs, Ivy. She's real sweet.
No, we love that for content. Rick Vaughn with Ivy breaking down baseball right now.
Yeah, what's Ivy's favorite team?
Well, you know what? We got Ivy when Joe Madden was with the Cubs, and that's why we named her Ivy because of Bobby's favorite.
Oh,
Okay.
So I guess she's a
Very
Cubs
nice.
fan.
You're making Mike excited.
Makes me very happy. I love Ivy. If Ivy needs a vacation, I'll take her over here in St. Pete for a while. Hey, let's talk about the Rays at this point in the season. We were talking just a little earlier, Ray and Ben and I, that the June swoon did not hit us this year as it has in the past, and that's a good thing. Talk about this ball club from your perspective, and all the years that you had watching them. The future, the new ownership, friends of yours.
Sure.
Talk about it a little bit about.
Well,
that.
I think anything that Eric Neander's involved with is going to be successful. He's the best mind in baseball. He just has that way, and I think teams don't even want to. I think there's certain teams they trade with, and they trade with those teams a lot, and there's certain teams they don't trade with at all because nobody wants to get involved with him because they're going to get fleeced. He's that good at what he does. This is a good season to be pretty good. If you look around the league, if the postseason started today, you're going to have a sub 500 team make the playoffs. So what does that tell you about the league? It's for the American League anyway, and I think. I watch the Yankees play a lot. I watch the Phillies, Yankees, Orioles. I was an Oriole. My first job was with the Orioles for 10 years. And I got to tell you, the Phillies are going to be in the National League, going to be up at the top at the end. But I'm not impressed with the Yankees. Certainly not impressed with the Orioles. And I haven't seen a whole lot of the Red Sox because I don't want to watch that baseball. It's so bad. So I think the AL East is the AL East. To me, the Yankees, if you play them at home, they're going to be a challenge. If you play them on the road, not so much. They don't have that short porch where everybody can go yard to right field, and that's what they live and die with. They're not a good base running team. They're not a. They made 4 errors the other night. They're not a particularly good defensive club, and they're hurt. They to be fair, Judge is out, Stanton's out. They're not. But even when Stanton was in, or when Judge was in there, they weren't world beaters. So I think the Rays are in a pretty good position. I see a lot of teams that would die to have their pitching, particularly their starting pitching, and so I think they're in a pretty good spot. I like where they are, and now once they get into the postseason and you're starting to see a little bit better pitching every game. A lot of these teams, to me, a bunch of the teams that they play, they seem like they have one really good starter, then they have 3 coin flips, and then they have a bullpen day, and that's how they get through their rotation. You're not the American League clubs. You're not running into teams that are going to run 2 or 3 really good starters out there at you. Not many of them anyway. So I think they're in a great shape, and I'm a big believer in Neander, and I love Cash, and I think they're going to be in pretty good shape. In terms of the ownership group, I really don't know the ownership group. I don't know. I think I've met one of them. And Ken Babby, I don't know Ken well, but I know his father. I worked with his father. He was the general counsel of the Orioles when I was there. So we worked together for 10 years. And the odd part about that is he was arguably the most important employee in the organization. I mean, he was the general counsel. He got all the legal stuff done. And I, not arguably, was probably the least important member of the organization as the assistant PR director. But the funny thing about it is back in those days, when you went to salary arbitration with a player, we didn't have 50 guys with a computer that would spit out, um, opposition research on a guy in about 10 seconds. That was my job. I had to go, and it would take me a full day just to sit down and go through handwritten stuff and everything. Um, and so I would come up with all the opposition research that Ken's father, Lon Babby, would take with him into battle in the courtroom. And so we actually worked together probably on 7 or 8 cases over 10 years. And so I really have the utmost respect for his father. He's a class individual, one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and just handled everybody with such class. So I'm rooting for him. I think they seem like they really want to make it work here. I think they've stepped into a couple of potholes along the way, but I know their intentions are good.
Hey, Moneyball made a lot of money at the box office, and you've written a book. Maybe you should write a book about your breaking down and analysis back in the day with with pen and paper and calculators and long hours.
I hate to, you know what? I hate to say this. I hate to think about those times because it was and it still is, but it was such a destructive process. You go into a courtroom or you go into a conference room, and you sit across from the players' lawyers and you rip the crap out of the guy. You're telling them how bad this guy is. And then when it's all over, you're going to put your arm around him and go, well, just business. I never really liked that process. I didn't even like doing the opposition research on guys because a lot of times it was people that I worked with I kind of liked those guys.
Yeah, and you're a kind human being, and that's a cutthroat world.
Well, it was part of the job. It was just part of the job. But yeah, it might be fun. You can't even begin to say how much the game has changed, since I started. I started in '84 with the Orioles, and it was like a mom and pop operation. We were at that point, the Orioles were still really, pretty revered. They had just won the World Series in '83 and had won 3 other World Series. They were. It's hard to believe now we're in 2026 and they have not been to the World Series since '83. It's like really hard to comprehend that.
I grew up with them being a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Boog Powell, Frank Robinson, of that ilk, and Brooks Robinson on the corner. I mean, I grew up a Yankees and a Twins fan, being from Iowa, but I knew every starter on Baltimore because they were that legitimate.
It was such a great place to learn my job, because those kind of guys that you just mentioned, they were around. They were around a lot. Not just, and they'd be in Baltimore, they'd be in spring training. Back in those days, we were in Miami. But you saw those guys a lot. They were done playing, but they were like these icons, and they kind of reminded you, you know what? It's pretty serious business going on around here. These guys, they did it well as anybody. And so I was really, really blessed. I had one of the greatest events ever when I was working there in 1991. We closed Memorial Stadium, and we moved into Camden Yards for 92. But in 91, when we closed the stadium, we brought back about 150 former Orioles. And we didn't, back in those days, you could keep things secret. So when everybody wanted to know, what are you doing at the last game ever at Memorial Stadium? We didn't tell anybody. We said, just stay in your seat when the game was over. And so when the game ended, we started playing, everybody left the field. We lost to the Tigers that day. I'll never forget it, 7-1. But anyway, so now there's nobody on the field, and we started playing the music from Field of Dreams. And all of a sudden, Brooks Robinson, in his uniform with his glove, runs out to third base. No announcement, no nothing. It was just Brooks running out to third. And we had him out there. We told him, we said, act like it's a game. Pretend there's a game going on. So he was pounding his glove, leaning in, like whenever a pitch would be thrown, imaginary pitch. And then about 90 seconds later, Frank Robinson ran out to right field. No announcement, just Frank. And then Boog, another minute, Boog ran to first, and then Blair to center, Belanger to short, Davy and Palmer to the mound. And then all the pitchers, eventually one by one we came out. And we were about halfway through the ceremony, and my job was, I was in the tunnel. We had all the players lined up from the dugout through the tunnel all the way back to the concourse, and we were feeding them out through the dugout onto the field. And I was so caught up in what I was doing, and I wasn't really listening for what the reaction was in the bowl. We had 50,000 people there, but I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, shouldn't people be going crazy right now? So I poked my head out of the dugout just to see what was going on. And I kid you not, there were 50,000 people there crying. It was unbelievable. It was a dream. It was just these people, and that's what we wanted to create. That's why it would have almost been it would have even, we didn't need to announce who these players were. Everybody in the stands knew who those guys were. And it was such a dream sequence. And the last guy that we had go out was Weaver. So I'm standing, he's the last one. The line is all the way out. They're all out at their positions. And Weaver is standing right next to me. And the moment was not lost on me at all, because we gave it a pregnant pause before he went out. And I'm thinking, this is where this guy stood for thousands and thousands of games, and I'm standing next to him, and this is going to be the last time he stands there. And I looked down at him because he was about 5'5", and he was crying. And I thought to myself, Earl Weaver is crying? Are you kidding me? And then that was when it really hit home. Like, it was the perfect city to do that, a blue-collar city. This is many of those people grew up there watching the Orioles and the Colts, and they won there, and it was just at this hallowed ground. But the connection between the city and the players and the ballpark, which was a very pedestrian ballpark. There was nothing exceptional about Memorial Stadium. Obstructed view seats, very narrow concourses. The parking could be a mess, and it was a community. It was in the middle of a community, so you had a lot of traffic problems. But in that moment, it was unbelievable. And I'll finish with this. The next day in the paper, they interviewed Brooks Robinson, and he said, I didn't cry when I went into the Hall of Fame. I didn't cry when they gave me my Thanks Brooks Day on my last day with the club, but I cried yesterday. And that was like, whoa. That was the final thing. Like, I think we did a pretty good job on this.
I asked Ken Babby about it, Rick, and he had tears in his eyes, Ben. Remember that night we were talking to him?
Yeah.
And we brought it up, and he talked about, because it was a lot on his dad and all, and I was able to tell him the story, articulate exactly as you had told me that story, and of course he knew it too, but he had tears in his eyes too, and that was years after the fact, and it gave me goosebumps as well. But let me ask you something about that. You said negotiations in a hard room. I can't let you get in and out of here without at least asking you. What we're hearing now, the owners are coming back. They're offering something, and not anything is going to be accepted. Is this going to happen continuously, Rick? Are you expecting to see negotiations back and forth as we approach next season?
Well,
Even though we're only
look,
halfway through.
I don't know anything. I'm a fan. I read the papers like you or websites, and I listen to shows like you guys. But this is the only thing that I can. I mean, it sounds to me like this is going to be a rough deal here. And the reason I say that is two of my best friends are Jason Stark from The Athletic and Tim Kirkchin from ESPN. And you will not find two more positive people about baseball than those guys. They will never say a negative word about the game. And you know what? Both of them are very, very pessimistic about what's happening, what's about to happen. So I base it on them. I always go to them when I want to hear some good news about baseball. And, they didn't have any for me. They haven't had any for me for a while now. Yeah.
Well, I got to ask then. You mentioned how the team used to, or at least the ownership used to feel kind of like mom and pop. It was kind of family oriented. Now it seems like more of a business. I feel like that's had a destructive impact on baseball, where it's lost that kind of almost gut instinct, that gut feel, that homegrown feeling. Is that kind of the same thing for you, where the teams have kind of lost that magic, almost that homegrown feeling?
Well, I think, which is why baseball is such a great sport. It's really it mirrors society. I mean, it's happening everywhere. That we're getting technology and we're learning more. We need more people. We need to do this. We need to do that. But the thing that bothers me, to your point, is that we have so many people. We've changed so dramatically that what worries me is that, like, to give you an example, this is what I think about when I think of Don Zimmer. Okay, Zim was a coach with us for a good while. When I think of Zim, the first thing that pops into my head was him sitting in the food room at the Trop, sitting and talking, 78 years old, 80 years old, talking to 25-year-old BJ Upton for a half an hour. When do you see an 80-year-old and a 20-year-old talk, unless they're grandpa and grandson, right? And not having those guys around, because it is such a business, and we have gotten away from that smaller feeling. It worries me that those guys aren't around, to sit down with BJ and tell him, this is how we do it. This is how we don't do it. This is how it's, I have nothing to gain from this. I want you to be a better player. I want you to be a better person, blah, blah. I think that part of it, you don't see guys like that around anymore. I mean, to me, it is insane that Joe Madden is not involved with a major league club somehow. Because I know one thing 100% for sure: the game is better with people like him in it. And there are other people like that too.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
got Jim Riggleman lives here in St. Petersburg. You don't think he would bring some great advice, or even if he was part?
Riggs lives in St. Petersburg.
Oh yeah,
Riggleman does?
yeah. He's out on the beach. But there are so many people like that. Jim Hickey, who's no longer even in the game right now, got let go by the Nationals, did not even get a minor league job offer. How are those guys not valuable in some way, even if it's just to bring a contradictory opinion to the table? Why wouldn't you want to have people like that in your organization? So, you know what? To your point, yes, the mom and pop days are gone. I learned so much from people. We were so close. And when you get close relationships like that, people are not afraid to tell you the truth. Like, hey, that's not how we do it here. I remember Frank Robinson. I had an assistant one time who did some crazy stuff. And Frank came to me and sat down with me and told me, why in the world would you allow somebody to do that who was working for the Orioles? You got to have a pretty honest relationship with somebody to have that. And you get that with that closeness. And so I'm afraid that those relationships, just by the fact that there's so many people working at these clubs now, you're not going to be able to have those kind of relationships.
I didn't realize Joe Madden, and I've been blessed, and a lot of it's because of you, because he loves the game of golf. He's come on our show 3 times now, and he's always putting his hand up if he's available, because we're talking golf. But we get some baseball in there, and I know he's a close friend of yours, but they broke the mold with him. He's an exceptional human being.
Yeah.
as well as aggressive competitor, logical thinker. I've never met a guy like that.
Heart of gold.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
absolutely.
You're right. He's a different cat. He really is. But I know that I just know that having him in the game is what the game is better for it. You know, Joe thinks. I remember one time I was having breakfast with his agent, who's been a longtime friend of mine, and I said to him, this was right after we got Joe to manage the club, and I said to him, you know, Alan, Joe looks at stuff like we look at it, but he sees something totally different. And he said, no, Rick, he sees 3 or 4 different things, you know, not just one. He sees it 3 or 4 different angles. And that was like the best one sentence description of Joe I could think of to be able to illustrate how his mind works, because he really does. I had some health issues over Thanksgiving, pretty serious health issues over Thanksgiving. And I called him. I called him after I was out of the hospital. And I told him, I said, I had a pretty rough Thanksgiving. And I told him what happened. He goes, no, Rick, you had the best Thanksgiving you've ever had. You know, you pulled through this thing. You got on the other side of your health issue. And that's just how he looks at things, And so every single time that I would see him and talk to him, I always felt better after I was around him. If I went into his office in a bad mood, I would always come out in a good mood because of the things that he would say to me and give me a different perspective on stuff.
But to be able to do that, and not have it exposed is very impressive.
And I just learned something as he told that story, because the first time he told us, and I'm sure Rick told it the right way. I'm sure it's the way I heard it. I was assuming he was talking about the players down beneath in the tunnel with him, and he did say that those players had tears in their eyes. But it made sense. You had 100 players coming out. You can't announce everyone after the game. No announcement, just the music, and they all go out to their positions.
It's amazing.
Incredible.
I had chills just hearing it, but is he back? He's back in here?
He's back.
Okay, great.
We can't see him in
So can you hear me now?
Yeah.
It's not you,
Okay.
Rick. We froze up, but I wanted to ask you. You mentioned Don Zimmer. And, the only 3 numbers so far have been retired by the Rays. We got Wade Boggs, 12, Zimmer, 66, and, of course, Jackie Robinson's 42. Big special day coming up next weekend, and you were talking about Joe and yourself. I'm assuming you have plans to be there in 2 weeks, when Evan Longoria's number is retired and we put him into the Rays Hall of Fame?
Yeah, you know what? Evan invited my wife and I to come. So we'll be there. He's got... I think it's Saturday is the induction, and then Sunday is something else. I think they're retiring his number, and then he's having a nice private party afterwards at the Art Museum in downtown St. Pete, and we were invited. So yeah, we'll be around the ballpark next for that for sure.
Well, can I ask you also, Rick, while we have you, and we can hear you perfectly. You and I talked early on. The downfalls to when you first took over the Rays job in '98 or '95, I think it was, 2 years ahead. There was no glass. They built that stadium, Tropicana Field, with no glass. Just talking about the picture we've seen about the proposed stadium there in Tampa, is that too much glass? You know what it's like in Florida. We want the sun to come in, but I don't think we want to bake like we're under a microscope, like we're ants running around getting magnified on. Or what do you think about that stadium over there? Is that going to give Rays fans the feel that Camden Yards did when that opened? Is that going to be able to be that special?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I've looked at the renderings like everybody else. I mean, I'm assuming that they will have glass that's, treated, that hopefully can keep out the rays of the sun, so
right.
It's not an oven in there. But that, obviously you kind of get concerned a little bit about that. It's funny, you mentioned the Tropicana Field. When I still have a postcard somewhere, but when I started there in '96 and we started playing in '98, there were these postcards that they had of the renderings. And the renderings that you look at from that first one, there was a pretty good amount of glass. So somewhere between that rendering and the building, and I'm assuming it had what they like to call, it got value engineered out of the project.
Yes.
So, but there was a lot of glass in there. The first rendering I saw, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that was all on the eastern side, and you used to be able to have. I thought when they built Center Field Street or whatever, they built out there and they built it over, but I don't know. That would have been earlier on.
I'm kind of glad that they didn't put the glass in, because I went and visited the Marlins Stadium, and It is swelteringly hot in there with the glass. It is not a good environment for
Miami,
baseball.
you've been there, Joe.
And the grass is like dead on it half the time.
Wow.
It's not a good stadium. I like the dome. I like the no lights because they get to do amazing light shows
Yes.
on the roof of the Trop, and I kind of like it. It's a home field advantage. It's a white roof with a white baseball. It gives teams a hard time. I like it. I like the quirks of the stadium.
Rick, let me ask you, what have you seen? Because Ken did it with the Akron Rubber Ducks. He's done it. He did it with the Jumbo Shrimp in Jacksonville. What have you seen so far? We've seen it with the lights and stuff during the game. Not overboard. What have you seen, Rick, that you agree with that some of the promotional things they're doing inside Tropicana Field this season?
Yeah, I think one of the strengths, and I think one of the strengths that Ken would bring to the ball club is that he has, and it's not a negative at all, is that he has minor league experience. And when you work for a minor league club, you work for a smaller market and a more intimate market, and you develop relationships with all of your stakeholders, very, pretty close relationships with those people. And you get to know them, you get to know what they want, what they don't want, and I think that's a real asset that he would bring to the organization. And I think they've done a few things that are, I don't want to call them minor league because they're not minor league. I don't mean it in that sense.
Right.
But they are good things that they've taken. We can learn a lot from minor league baseball. A lot. I see it every time I go out to the Threshers games. And
Beer
I think,
night.
yeah, especially dollar beer night, right? But I think Ken, brings that part of it with him along, and I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a real asset that, to me, they should trumpet that a little bit more. They know that their background is more intimate relationships with their fans, and I think that's a really good thing. And I hope that I don't know what's going on over there. I'm just from afar. But I hope that that's the attitude that they've taken with all of their employees. That let's get to know our fans. Let's be interactive with our fans.
You're watching the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection on our YouTube channel. Please link and like us and sign up as we
Subscribe.
Subscribe as we continue to expand our footprint across the USA as well as right here in Tampa Bay and St. Petersburg with positive coverage each and every Saturday. And we're also little breaking news, and I'm sure we'll be trying to convince you to come down, Rick Bond. We're launching Ferg's TV next week. It's gonna be interesting. It'll be sports, entertainment, conversations, and Mark finally. I've been beating on him for several years, and he's got the social media bug, and he's certainly got plenty to promote down here. So we're going to launch that as well down here at Ferg's.
Well, congratulations. That's
Yeah.
terrific. That's
So we're gonna have a lot
terrific.
of fun. But if you're watching us, you can see 100 years of baseball, St. Petersburg waterfront, right here on the set. And you should probably look at another project with your wealth of knowledge, or at least contact 30 for 30. That story you just told us about, having all the greats come out at one time. We were talking when we were down there for a minute that in today's society, it would have been impossible for you to do that under wraps and people not to be
No way.
to know what was going on. I mean, that's the coup that was so impressive as far as I'm concerned, along with the spectacular delivery of so many greats at one time.
Well, that was one of the things that we told, when we started contacting people in January, and the game wasn't until October 6th, because we knew we had a lot of work to do, in just terms of getting everybody lined up and getting them coming in and getting them hotel room and getting their proper, we put them in the uniform that they wore when they played. And obviously, the uniforms evolved. So there was a lot of work involved in that. But one of the things that we said to each and every one of them was, you can't say anything to anybody about this. This isn't secret. It's not going to work like we want it to, because our mission was really to create a dream. That's what we wanted to do. We wanted it to be a dream for 50,000, sharing a dream, 50,000 people sharing a dream. And it's really how, as I described it, it kind of came out that way. And like I said, the one thing that was really cool is some of the teams, like Eddie Murray was with the Indians, Rick Dempsey was with the Indians, Dennis Martinez was, I think, with Montreal. those teams let those guys skip their last game to come to Memorial Stadium to be a part of that ceremony.
Bravo.
So that was really cool. And then, we did a couple of kind of nuanced things that only Oriole fans would probably appreciate, like when Gary Renicky and John Lowenstein, we had them go out together because they were a platoon in left field. We had Len Sakata. I don't know if you remember this or not. It was one of the greatest moments in Memorial Stadium history. But Len Sakata was a utility infielder with the Orioles. In a game in 1983, 10 innings, he had to be the emergency catcher. He had never caught, and it was the only inning he ever caught in Major League Baseball. So he's going out to catch the 10th inning, and Tippy Martinez comes into the game. And I don't know if you knew what happened that night, but he picked off 3 runners off first base. It's the only time it's ever happened in Major League Baseball, but he picked 3 runners off first base for all 3 outs of that inning. And Len Sakata was the catcher. He never recorded a put out or anything. So when we introduced Len on that last day, instead of going to the infield, we had him go behind home plate. And it just, that's the kind of thing where Oriole fans would go, oh my God, they've got Len Sakata behind the plate. Is that kind of thought? And then the last thing, there was a funny story that Mike Flanagan told. Flanny was out there on the mound with like 20 other pitchers by the time we were done, and he said Rick Dempsey squatted behind the plate, and he gave a sign, and Flanny goes, all 25 of us shook him off.
Now, if the Rays did something like this, who are we calling? B.J. Upton, Evan Longoria, Carl Crawford, David Price,
The legends.
the legends of the Rays.
Wilson Alvarez got to be there. He threw the first
Well,
pitch.
and another guy that has to be there, and I wish we saw more of him around because he's a great guy, and he's still, I don't know if anybody realizes this, he's still their all-time saves leader, and that was Roberto Hernandez, our first closer, is still the all-time saves leader there, and he lives in St. Pete. So I'd like to see more.
Yes.
What's that?
I talk to him all the time. Yeah, I talk to him, Roberto, all the time.
Oh, he's such a good guy. He is
Such a
he
great
is an
guy.
ace, man. I always told him, I said, you were the most stand-up guy I had in my 21 years there. He did the same thing after every game, whether he pitched well or he didn't. He would, he'd come in, he'd go get a beer, he'd turn his chair around facing the middle of the room, and he was there. And if media wanted to talk to him, come on over. And he would always talk to them every single time, and I so much respected him for that.
He's still like that today. We have him down. I've had on a few shows, or he'll show up down here.
How come you haven't had him on this show?
I'm waiting. I'm waiting till we get.
What are you waiting for?
Till we get Rick down here, and we'll have a beer together.
My God, I'm 70 years old. I don't have much time left.
But he'll walk in, he'll turn a chair, he'll have a beer, and you can talk to him like he's nobody's business, or you can interview him and all. He's just so down to earth. I love it. And maybe who else? Fernando Rodney got to come in and shoot
Oh
some
yeah,
bow and arrows.
have to have him.
Wade Boggs.
Gotta have
Boggs.
Wade. Yeah,
Of
gotta
course,
have Wade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fred McGriff.
Yes,
you
of
got to
course.
have him. The 2 Hall of Famers from the Rays.
Yeah.
You got to have those guys.
I got a family dilemma. Since you got a few moments there with Ivy and we're talking Cubs, this is a fun family story. I just got back from visiting my son in Wichita, and when he was a young guy, that's when I was involved in the Cubs organization. But prior to that, we came down every spring to see my mom, and we were down at Al Lang, and McGriff was on the team, and it was a hot day, and Michael he was an autograph hound. He had access to any of the Cubs that came through when we were in AAA or we went to Wrigley, and Fred McGriff was signing. There's like 10 kids, and they just happened to all be black kids, and I see Michael, and he's trying to get up there, and he gets up there, and finally, Fred said, "That's it," and walks in. And leaves my son standing there holding his ball, right? So he's about, I don't know, 9 or 10 years old. Fast forward to Sammy Sosa against Barry Bonds. And it was a day game at Wrigley. And the fam's with me, and the bases are loaded, bottom of the ninth. And the Cubs are down. And Crime Dog hits a grand slam.
Wow.
Everybody's going nuts. My wife, the other kids. Michael's little ass is sitting in that chair, and I go, "Get up and cheer." He goes, "I'll never cheer for him." to this day, and I tell him, son, he's one of the kindest guys in the world. I don't care. He didn't sign that autograph. And people, and I had the same experience with Vita Blue years ago. But people don't realize what an impact. But so I got to get Fred here and my son, and they got to shake hands.
Did we say Ben Zobrist? Was he in that list already?
Oh,
Ben
Zoe, that's
Gotta
right,
have
man.
Zorilla. Okay.
Zoe's
Yeah.
got to be there, yeah.
Hey, but I had the same story with Matt Garza. I saw him at an Outback when I was like 7 years old, and I just went up to him and I was like, "Hey, nice to see you." We're all waiting for a table. It's not like he was sitting and eating with his family. And I was like, "Hey, I love the Rays. Nice to meet you." And he was like, "Get away from me." And I'm 7 years old, and we're waiting just like you are. I bleed the same red blood that you do, brother. And that pissed me off to no extent. I am anti Matt Garza. No Matt Garza at that game.
That's a fine line. And as a communications director, I'm sure you dealt with it quite often.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we tried to impress upon them, that those little interactions like that are so important, that you can make somebody's day just by smiling at them. I mean, when you have that kind of power, you should recognize that and you should activate it. And you know what, Matty was a very, very intense guy. He's not a bad guy, but he wouldn't be at the top of my list for my all-time favorite team. He was just very intense, and he was a challenge to me at sometimes, but he was not a bad person. He really wasn't. He just he had
I'm sure
a
he's a
way
nice
about
guy.
him that was a little different.
Well, I tell you what, my friend, I appreciate you taking time. You're always a wealth
Yeah.
of knowledge.
You guys are awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, you have an open invitation, and I know Mark loved to see you anytime. You guys are close.
Yeah,
And,
I texted with him. Actually, I talked to him this week about trying to set up a charity thing for Fergs, which he, of course, is going to help us with an event to raise some money for the homeless shelter. So I'll probably see you down there. Plus, I think Bernie Williams comes down there sometimes, right? I think on Wednesdays he's been coming down when there's an open mic and he plays his guitar. Is that right?
Yeah, and I see him at Katiki down on Sunset Beach.
Now that's a good guy, right
jamming
there.
on a Monday night. He's just the greatest guy in the world.
You know what? I got to know him. I went with the All-Star team to Japan in 2002, and he was on that team, and I loved him. I mean, by the time we were together for 3 weeks, and by the time it was over, man, I thought so highly of him. I respect him so much. Such a good guy.
My buddy, we have him on quite often, Jeff Mangold. He was the strength and conditioning coach for the Yankees back in from about 97 to 2005. And
Wow.
I brought his name up to Manny down at Katiki, and he just went nuts. He said, "Oh, Manny Mangold?" I said, "Yeah." And ever since then, every time he sees me, he wants to see how Mangold's doing. But yeah, and he won an Emmy. He won a Latin Emmy.
Yes.
He's that talented.
Or
Yeah.
Grammy?
Grammy.
Yeah, he won an
Grammy.
award. Yeah.
Grammy, yeah.
I didn't think he was acting.
He won an award. He could act. He's that good looking. And I tell you what, Jeff said he was the best athlete on the team by far.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right, my friend.
All right. Great talking to you guys.
All right.
Hey, Rick. before I
Enjoy the
let you
rest
go,
of your weekend.
I'm, I'm retired now, so I got a lot of time on my hands. If I can be of any assistance when we have that charity event down here,
Oh.
seriously, please let me know. I'd love to be involved.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I will take you up on that.
Thank you, brother,
you.
definitely.
Thank you. All right,
right.
you guys.
He's
Be
Rick
well.
Vaughn. You can pick up his book, 100 Years of Baseball, St. Petersburg Waterfront, Amazon, the local bookstores. And it's a great read. As you're
It's the
well
first
aware.
book I've read back to back to back continuously because it's just every time. And I was here last week watching a Rays game, and somebody came in and said, "The Yankees used to train down at Coffee Pot Bayou with the," and I'm like, "Yeah, you read the book. It's all in there. That's the fantastic."
And it's got pictures for you too, Mike, so you can,
I
so
know.
you can
That's
read
why,
it.
that's why I love it.
Attaboy.
All right, we love this guy. We're going to switch gears here as we are in the second hour. And this conversation is brought to you by Coca-Cola Body Armor, and that, of course, is with the head football coach, the CCC, Clearwater Central Catholic Marauders. He's a busy man all summer long. He's got his daughters with them today and having a little family time. But I wanted to get a few thoughts from him on some of the things that are taking place this summertime. How are you, my man?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're doing very well,
Coach.
and I saw that. I don't know if it was one of the high school websites, and then they were talking about the open. Is it open rankings, open
The open
playoffs,
division. The
open
open
division?
of the playoffs.
Explain that to our audience that sees all these powerhouse teams beating up on teams constantly. Is this something that the coaching community pushed for?
I think I got to preface that those teams that those powerhouses were beating up on. We were one of them. We lost 3 state championships to the same team by a combined score of a lot to a little. And I have to, before I get into what I know of it, and it's
And
just,
you had some amazing teams then.
Amazing.
we
yeah.
did. We had some really good talent. We had some successful seasons. I mean, for 3 years, we averaged, 12, 13, 14 wins a year. And we always would run into a high school out of Fort Lauderdale, Chaminade, Madonna, and they're very talented. I mean, if you turn on a college football game, there's very few that you won't find somebody from their roster during that time that's playing from the probably the best player in college football right now, Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State, to C.J. Bailey, the quarterback at NC State. I mean, there are players from that program and that team that are all over not only college football, but now they're turning over into the NFL. So I mean, I will say this: the open division, it does do that. It does pull out some of the more powerhouse programs, and it'll ultimately create what they hope to be a singular, one true state championship that should represent the best team in what I believe is the best state for high school football. But I have to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of it. I think that me being the true competitor I am, when we do
You
win
want a shot at them?
when we do win a state championship at CCC, I hope it's that one and not one where the better teams in the state are pulled out. But it's something that not everybody thinks the same way I do. A lot of people think the way that I do. There's not, it's not really the powerhouses against everybody else. I mean, there's a good mix of people who are in support of the open division, and then there's a group of people who are not. I mean, I always tell my friends at the FHSA that there's really no system that they're going to put together that's going to please everybody. I do wish they would find a system and stick with it, because it seems like every year or two we're changing the system, and the target is moving for everybody. But that's where we are now. So this year they actually have a contract with Max Preps, and the top 8 teams in the state of Florida. No matter the classification, will be pulled out of their classifications, and they'll have I think the system is set up to where the first couple rounds are maybe played at home sites. Like the higher seed would get a home game, and then the state championships are going to be played, or that state championship is going to play at the villages.
Well, the last time you played them, and as you said, it was a lot to a little.
Yeah.
But they had 13 Division One team players on
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah, they had a
13.
bunch. They had a bunch, yeah. And that's a testament to them. I mean, the crazy part about it is the 3 years that we played in the state championship game, at the end of the year, based off the Max Preps rankings, we would have probably been pulled out and placed into the open division. So we wouldn't have gotten away from them. We would have just got put into a different classification. Maybe wouldn't have had as many opportunities for our kids to play. So I mean, I think it will end up crowning the best team in the state, but I don't know that it's going to. I don't know how it changes people's opinions of all the rest of the state championships that are being played. So,
Coach, talk about, I know, and because of your program, the CCC program, it's so hat in hand. And that's the reason why I know you're all about the competition and you're all about the character. Is this open division going to help downstream as far as some of the changes we're seeing now with the programs and, with the, Teddy Bridgewater law and stuff like that? Is this going to help? Is it some of that for that bottom also, or is it just to help the very top?
no, I mean, I think what it does is, I see it as that's the purpose of it. I mean, surely it's going to sort of pull the cream to the top. The best programs are going to be pulled out, but it's also going to allow some of the teams in that maybe would have been excluded from the playoffs. There'll be more playoff spots throughout all of those classifications that those 8 teams are pulled out of. So there'll be more opportunities. And let's just be honest. I mean, if for the most part, those 8 teams, if they're coming from different classifications, they're teams that would have had a chance to win those state championships in those smaller divisions or those other classifications. And so that does give somebody another opportunity or someone else an opportunity to be able to win a state championship. But I think this, I don't know if you guys remember back 4 or 5 years ago, we had this metro suburban system where there were 8 counties in the state that had state championships, and then there were like 55 other counties. And I got to be honest with you, if you won a state championship in the suburban, they have to permanently put an asterisk beside your name because you won a state championship and didn't have to play the teams from Miami, the teams from Fort Lauderdale, the teams from Pinellas and Hillsborough. So those rural teams were able to win a state championship, but they didn't have to play the best teams in the state the way that the classifications were originally and intended to be dispersed. So there's always, you pull out the best teams in the state, there's going to be some asterisks in my mind to those people who win those state championships in those other classifications. So, I'm not the majority in that opinion, but that's just how I feel.
I also agree with what you're saying there with the Metro. We want to, at the end of the day, we're trying to make this as competitive as possible. We're trying to make it an even playing field for everybody, but we're not trying to make a participation trophy type of an event. I mean, you still want to qualify.
You're breaking.
Fine, first, to see everybody. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach. I'm sorry.
You're breaking up, Ray.
Oh, I'm sorry, Coach. I was breaking up on you. Can you hear me now? Mike, see if you can hear you.
I can hear Mike.
Go ahead, Mike.
We're having no problem with the razor. Mike, I want to grab that one too, but
can you hear me now? We're having a great high school conversation right now with that coach at CCC.
Nothing was touched.
Just kind of dropped out there, but
I don't think we put enough light on the fact that 3 weeks ago we had Coach Harvey and CCC senior head coach in here, private school, public school, both fantastic programs, both fantastic coaches.
Both made the playoffs.
Both made the playoffs. But that's what I'm talking about here. I think it's zoning, the open division and stuff like that. At the end of the day, really all about is just continuing to make it a more level playing field. All Coach, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I was.
We were bad mouthing you, but
sorry, I'm not a bad mouth coach.
We were bad mouthing you, but don't worry about that. In Miami Hurricane, and anyway, I guess I got a question relative to other sports. Do you see this trickling down to baseball, basketball? Where you have the same dilemmas.
The actual open division is not just a football thing. It's a football rule. It's a basketball rule. It's a baseball rule. It's a volleyball rule. It's just a state rule that they put into, I guess you could say, some of the bigger sports. But they're trying to make sure that when we crown that one open division champion, that is as close to being a representative of the best team, no matter the classification. Because I will agree with this. I think there's when you look at classifications in the state of Florida, there's too much weight put on enrollment. We may be an enrollment of 580 kids, but we're not the same football team as a lot of the other 580 student schools. And there's some very large public schools in this state that, they may have 3,000-4,000 people in them, but they're not the same programs as us. So to think that, competition is based solely off of enrollment, I mean, that's the easiest way to do it, but it doesn't paint a clear picture of where a program is. And the open division, because of the true rankings and their computer systems that I will never be able to understand, they're trying to put together a system that pulls out those better teams.
Coach, if you
thank you, Ben. Go ahead, you go, Ben.
If you had to create kind of like the how the state championship works and the divisions and the rankings and all that. What would you suggest as being the optimal kind of idea for it? Because as a public school coach, I often think of, having a private and a public school division, and then having the two of them face off for a state championship, and doing something of that nature, or even doing kind of a European soccer kind of model with with relegation.
That's what I was going to ask,
Yeah.
because
I can't believe you brought up
soccer.
Hey,
He had to.
I think it's a good idea, because you have schools that honestly deserve to be competing for the state championship, and you have schools that really are kids just trying to have fun and enjoying their high school team. And there's nothing wrong with either side of that, but I think it's unfair when you have a number one ranked team beating up on another school of 500 where they're barely fielding a team. And it creates some issues where I think it discourages players from even trying out for a team.
Yeah, I think that, I'm not against the whole public-private division. I'm not. It's not that I'm for or against it, but I think we have to be careful in making the comparison just so clearly. Hey, it's a public and a private school separation, because it's really not. Because if you look at the classifications, the majority of private schools already compete in the same classifications. We have a district this year that has a few public schools in it, but for the majority of the last 10 years I've been here, our classification is majority private schools. Now, there are some one-offs when you get into the bigger classifications. If you're talking about the St. Thomas's of the world, or St. Thomas Aquinas's, or the Christopher Columbus, those bigger schools that have those sort of standalone private schools, I don't think it's very fair to compare those public schools to those private schools. So to answer your question, I think I go back to what I said before. I don't know that I can't think of a clear-cut way other than separating the two, but you're not going to get much of a difference except in those bigger classifications where those St. Thomas Aquinas or Christopher Columbus or those schools are pulled apart, because the rest of us are already.
Is that where IMG fits into their coach?
IMG is an entirely different animal. I mean,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
well, I would say this: they're not as different now as what they used to be, because, I mean, we've got our own version of superpowers and programs that are just pulling kids from everywhere onto one team. And I always make this argument in our school, and maybe I argue this because I know how we're going to do things. If your behind doesn't sit in a seat at Clearwater Central Catholic, and you don't take classes from Miss Noyes or Mr. Mucci, or if you're not a part of the everyday community at CCC, you will not suit up and play any
Bravo.
sport for us.
I applaud you for taking
Now,
that position. You
the
got too
problem
many of these
with that
schools.
is, though,
The kids
Mike-
don't even step a foot into
Yeah.
the school, and they're still participating from a sports perspective, and that's
Yeah,
absolute BS.
we have this argument. I serve on an FACA board, and there's a lot of public and private school, and the easiest way for public schools to argue is they make it a private public argument, and it's a solid argument, but it's more so a traditional non-traditional student argument to me. I think that there should not be allowed to be a charter school that somebody builds just to put a bunch of computers into a room and then sort of sell those kids off to high school students.
We
high
see that in
school
Pinellas
students.
County 3 times in the last few years that I've been covering this.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, as far as that guy goes, Pinellas County is behind a lot of our neighboring counties. I shouldn't say behind. I feel like they're ahead. I think that, I'll tell you this, guys. I don't know that I would be able to be academically successful at Clearwater Central Catholic when I was in school.
Me neither.
I'm
Coach,
not.
right
I'm
there.
not intelligent enough to do that. So for our kids to be able
Coach,
to show
Coach,
up from
Coach,
7:45,
you're from West Virginia. Come on, man.
Oh no, you did not, Mike.
we're gonna ignore we said that one.
Hey,
But
Coach, I'm sorry, Coach. Can I ask you one last question?
yes, sir.
I gotta go off the res a bit here, but did the NCAA, did they get Brandon Sorsby correct, and what do you think his future for the NFL looks like?
I think if the
I think it's Johnny Manziel we're looking at.
yeah if they didn't get it, I don't know how much longer there will be in NCAA. Just to be honest with you. But if they didn't find a way to have that result end up being what it was, then that was just going to be their swan song. They were finished because, that's just, I mean, it's clear cut to me. There's certain things you can't do, and but that's sort of, not to stand on a pedestal here. That's sort of where we are in the world right now. Is if somebody, there's a rule that's created and you're supposed to follow it, and if you don't follow it and you get caught and you're punished, then if you don't like the punishment, instead of just working to improve yourself and learn from your mistakes, you just go find a judge that'll agree with you and say, hey, this isn't fair, and let's just ignore whatever ruling there was. And to me, that it's not a singular rule that is what's wrong with sport right now, but it's a society where we are not okay with failure. We don't accept mistakes and try to learn from them. We just try to erase them and pretend like they didn't happen. And
Amen.
if NCAA didn't find a way to make sure that somebody, stood for something, then it would have probably been one of the final straws.
Well, my man, thanks for taking time to join us and get us a little insight on that.
Anytime, my man, anytime.
I know a lot. The common fan that enjoys high school sports but doesn't pay attention to it. It was a gray area, and you clarified for us. And we'll talk to you soon. Enjoy your daughter and your family this weekend, and I think your Miami Hurricanes will probably come out preseason rank number 7.
Yeah, go Canes. Go
Canes. All right. Coach Chris Harvey of the Clearwater Central Catholic Marauders, and a good friend of ours, and I'd like to get his insight. He's just one of the
Who's
great
he
guys.
kidding? I'm not that intelligent. Talking to Coach, that
He's
guy.
from West Virginia, man. What do you expect him
But
to
he's
be?
got a strong support system at home. He's surrounded by some smart ladies.
Hey, I got to bring Peter Gollin back up.
Yes,
now.
Pete.
But I got to apologize to Wendy.
Oh.
My henchman, Joe Geiger, I sent him after that hat. I thought you were leaving for the day, and that's my only Joe Madden signed hat. I got a million hats you can have, dear. But your husband's putting Joe Madden on. I think he was trying to make a quick getaway with the Joe Madden signed hat.
No.
I know that.
No.
You got more signatures probably and autographs than anybody that we know. Hey, I want to do a little infomercial.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Love this.
make sure you get a good shot of it. You guys see me? This was the creation from he's watching right now, from my grandson, 8-year-old Jackson Michael Rickard. It's a putting thing that he did with his 3D printer, and he put on the tee on there for
very cool.
That's
for his
awesome.
grandpa, for his papa, and I'll be giving these away. And they actually, I bought him the 3D printer. I didn't know what the hell it did.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, can you explain how a 3D printer works, though?
I don't have a clue.
I don't either. No, I do. I do.
He gets this filament, and then he's Mr. Wizard. And this thing is cool. We'll be giving a lot of these away.
Love it.
And I've
That's
been
pretty
testing them
neat.
on your carpet. I mean,
That's perfect.
take it with you.
I'll
Yeah.
take 15.
It's not the roll up kind, But
No, I like it. It's small enough. You take it and walk it with it in your hand. It's light,
I got
too.
to come up with the name of this gadget.
I like the
But,
flag on it.
Yeah, that was all his idea.
That's good.
What's your grandson's name?
Jackson Michael.
Jackson.
I throw the Michael in there, of course, all the
I
time.
like it.
How about calling it hole in one?
There you
Hole
go.
in one. I
Hole
like
in
that.
one.
Simple.
No, Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh,
what
that's
I
a
was
beautiful
thinking,
Hole
place.
in
baby.
one.
Hole in one works, too.
It took somebody with a high IQ.
The novelist.
It took
It
someone
takes a
with
writer.
high IQ to come in and set us straight. And he's the great Peter Gollenbach. He's an accomplished author. You could call him an historian, as well as Ben Botham with his passion for the great game of baseball. I brought his lovely bride down, and of course our
And the dog.
that's our mascot.
Yeah, Willie, right?
That's Willie.
That's Willie.
Oh, I love Willie.
So, Pete, can I throw you right into the debate here?
Sure.
We already had a
Hey,
conversation here.
let's pull
Get
his
the
his
a little
microphone
closer for you.
closer or switch him
I'll tell you
up.
what, Pete. Switch seats with me. Let's do this.
That's all right.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can do this.
If Shohei
It's the-
Ohtani should have been suspended or thrown out of baseball, if it was proven that he was gambling, allegedly it was only his money man, Ben parts that because Shohei still plays today, then Shoeless Joe Jackson should retroactively be allowed
Oh,
into the Hall of Fame.
you're putting words in my mouth.
I
over
thought you
there.
were making a case for he's known for not being in there, but you think he should be. Am I right?
Well, the only thing Shoeless Joe did was
That
take
mic's
off-
not working. I'm sorry. That's
It's
what
not
it
working.
is.
Well, there you go.
That's why I couldn't use it earlier. I'm sorry, Pete. Let me see. That's what I want to hear.
Is it muted?
This is good.
Which one was it?
Test 1, 2. Test.
Oh, it's working. It's just low. Okay, it's working now.
Very good.
Let's see here.
Joe switching phone.
All right, we'll try this one.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right, you can hear me all right?
Yeah, that's better.
The only thing Shoeless Joe did back in 1919 was take $5,000.
Yeah,
It
he
was
took
Yeah,
$5,000.
but
money.
what was $5,000 back then?
That was a hell of a lot of money.
Exactly.
Because he had an unbelievable World Series performance.
And he tried to give it back. But the owner, who knew exactly what was going on, didn't want to get involved in this. And so he slammed the door on Shoeless Joe, and Shoeless Joe was trying to bring the money back. And so Shoeless Joe had a very fine record in the 1919 World Series. Never should have been
Yeah.
thrown out. The third baseman never should have been thrown out. But the new commissioner, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, decided, even though they had gone to trial and were found innocent, that baseball needed for all these people to be suspended forever. And so he suspended them all,
Do you think that that was the right decision to save baseball?
probably.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I don't think you had to. Oh, no, I'm not working. It's okay.
No, you're not working.
I don't think you had to go, like you said, the whole team.
Now Ray's not.
Yeah.
Could have pieced it a little bit, but I think that at the time, a gambling scandal, if Kennesaw Mountain Landis doesn't make that decision,
Yeah.
baseball.
Yeah, baseball. The integrity of the game gets lost, and the public loses the trust in it. And when you hear the stories of God, I always forget his name, but he talks about it. Babe Ruth comes in and kind of revitalizes baseball
Oh, he
and
did.
kind of brings back the energy into the
He
game.
certainly did.
So
Well, you can talk about Pete Rose, too.
yeah, Pete Rose. Yeah,
Pete Rose, as a player, was adored by millions.
yep.
Adored.
Still adored.
Still adored. And then he became a manager, and his gambling proclivities caught up with him.
I think a big issue with Pete Rose. I mean, because I feel like Major League Baseball wanted to forgive him, but it was the constant lying to the commissioners, where the FBI documents kept coming back and showing that he did do it when he continuously said, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." That doesn't help his case much.
Well, Pete's problem is that he had a personality. He was prickly.
Yeah.
Say, yep, nicely.
Oh, yeah.
And he, pushed people the wrong way often.
Mm-hmm.
He smashed into the catcher during the All-Star game, ended the guy's career. Certainly he was intense. He was intense the same way Ty Cobb was intense, and Cobb was hated too. Cobb was hated so much that they wrote a book about
He
him.
sharpened his spikes.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, but I heard that book written on Ty Cobb, a lot of it was made up stories that coming back, it wasn't as accurate as the author had made it seem.
That's true, but there were also stories that weren't.
Yeah, well, yes, that is true. That is true.
Well, let's come to the 21st century because.
All right. So
yeah.
you were asking about Ohtani. Apparently, Ohtani didn't know that his guy stole $14 million from him because he was gambling.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine. I can't imagine at all. I mean, he lost the $14 million. Maybe he didn't know why he lost the $14 million.
Possibly.
But
I was talking about the positivity
Oh, yeah,
of these
Oh.
Tampa Bay Rays.
Yes.
oh,
That's
shoot.
what I wanted to bring, the positivity.
Oh, well, let's
Last
let's
night,
give it-
you got
let's-
home from the game and we chatted, and I said, I want you to break down this team
All
as,
right.
as we got through the June swoon,
Yeah.
essentially, and probably with the W today and tomorrow.
I mean, it's a very, very interesting team. If you go with the analytics,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh. The analytics is basically they want pitchers who don't give up home runs or who don't walk people. And if you're a great pitcher, you don't give up home runs and you don't walk people.
That's the recipe for success.
And we got a couple of people like that. This guy, Nick Martinez, who at the beginning of the season, we had no idea who this guy was. No idea at all. We watched him last night. He was spectacular. He's got a bunch of different pitches. He throws them for strikes. He doesn't walk people. He doesn't give up a lot of home runs. And he's 7-2 right now. And if he doesn't go to the All-Star game, nobody deserves to.
And can you imagine? He talks about how he loves the control of the ball. The ball's the same inside Tropicana Field every time. You tell me over the years, drawing pitchers here, that wasn't one of the reasons why you could tell him you're not going to have a hand-sweating first 81 games
Yeah.
a year. It's perfectly
It's a
controlled.
controlled environment.
And Nick
Oh, yeah.
loves that. Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Pete.
And we got Rasmussen, who's 6-4. He's another guy who does not. He's walked 15. He's walked 15 in the 86 innings he's pitched. So according to the sabermetrics people, this is some guy you want. So you got him. Then the third guy is McClanahan, who two years ago, before he got hurt, was absolutely the best pitcher in baseball.
Yeah.
And he's coming back. And then you get the one guy nobody ever talks about, because who the hell is he? And this is a guy named Jax, Griffin Jax.
Griffin.
Who the hell is Griffin Jax? Well, when he started the season, he was supposed to be our closer,
Yeah.
and he was terrible. I mean, terrible.
It was a rough start.
Holy mackerel. And say what you want about our manager, but he really has handled this pitching staff really, really beautifully this year. He took Jax. He started pitching him as an opener. Now, the guy had blisters on his fingers, and so he couldn't pitch at the beginning more than 2 or 3 innings. But eventually, he's now gone 5-6 innings, and he's pitching shutout ball, and he's a lot of fun to watch. So, you got a team with these 4 guys, and you got a reliever who nobody ever heard of. Who the hell is Brian Baker? And where did he come from? And nobody knows.
Yeah, but Pete, can any of those pitchers hit?
Who cares?
Well, that seems to be your
I don't care. I don't care. If at the end of the game, the other team's got 2 runs, I'll take my chances.
There you go. Hey, that's the way Buccaneers defense played football through the 90s. You just hold them below 10 and let's try to win it 10-6.
Unfortunately, yes. So you got that side of the ball. Now, without talking about the hitting, let's talk about one of the finest shortstops I have ever freaking seen.
Yes.
Now, I started off hating the guy because he hits about 180.
You did. You were
Oh.
really down on him.
I
And
think
Oh,
I know
my
who we're
goodness.
talking about.
But I've been watching him.
I've got the archives to prove it.
Yeah, I bet you do. But I've been watching him recently, and Walls, holy smokes, can this guy play shortstop? He's made some absolutely magnificent plays where he goes into the hole, falls down on his face, somehow stands up, makes the throw in one motion and throws the guy out. I don't know how. I mean, he is really the anchor to this infield. And at first base, Aranda does a very, very nice job. Now, your second baseman, that would be.
Trying to help you out here, but I'm still thinking about Taylor
No,
Walsh.
that's all right. That's all
Yeah,
right.
Taylor
You don't have
Walls,
to- No,
he-
no. The second baseman right now is Palacios.
Rich, you're right.
Richie Palacio can't hit for beans, but I don't know. Sometimes they bat him third or fourth, and I can't quite figure out why. I guess they're hoping.
Well, for decades, the
Yeah.
second basemen haven't been expected to
Yeah,
have
but
big numbers anyway.
Palacios,
Yeah.
he plays a nice second baseman too.
Yep.
Nice second base. Does a good job. And at third base, you got a guy who is threatening to become one of the greatest third basemen in the history of this game.
We have got to hold on to him.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, we do.
Junior Caminero
Yes.
has been making plays in the last week. Now, every once in a while, he makes an error, and people scream and holler. And some idiot on the radio was talking about, oh, we should trade the guy because he
Jeez.
can't field. Are you kidding me?
There was one play, Pete, and I know you saw the play because you see all the plays. There was a game month back. He cut off a ball that was hit the walls.
Yep.
He didn't make the play, but he makes that play 99% of the time. And they made a big deal. They said something in the post game, and we said, and Cash said he already talked to him about it. The very next game, one hit straight up the hole. He actually went in and bent back.
I remember that.
That was the best. To me, that's his best play of the year because that goes to he's going to be one of the best third basemen there is in baseball. Because not only is he fantastic hitting, fielding, playing, but he learns that fast. He's learning English this year.
He
is an
does.
all-around
He
guy.
is learning English, which
So
is
am I.
which is tremendous.
Maybe.
He made one.
Still working on it, Mike?
Yeah,
it's-
stumbling,
it's
fumbling,
touch-
and bumbling.
It's touch and go.
I mean, he's so noticed now. I mean, this guy is noticed when he comes to bat or when he's in the field. A lot of players aren't noticed. The fans don't care about him. They sure care about this guy.
How do you feel about Jonathan Aranda at
No,
first
hang,
base?
hang
though?
on a
Okay,
second.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you were
Hang
going back
on a
there. I
second.
apologize.
I'm not finished yet. The other day, The other day, he hit a ball to the infield, and the infielder threw the ball past the first baseman, and it bounced off the fence of the dugout. And Caminero thought the ball had gone into the dugout, and so he jogged to second base and got thrown out.
That was bad.
And the fans went nuts. I mean, you ruined our inning. What are you doing? That sort of thing. People forget the kid's 22 years old. And
I
I'm
keep
telling
forgetting
you,
that.
and he's just now starting to hit. I think he's had 5 home runs in the last 3 games.
Yeah.
And so the other part of it, I mean, before I was talking about all the pitchers we had, now you want to talk about the hitting that we have. We've got about 3 guys who can hit. You got a 9-man roster, and you got 3 guys who can hit.
Makes it hard.
It makes it a little harder. But the question is, with a pitching staff that gives up 2 runs, 3 runs per game, can you hold? Can you score 4? Can you score 5? And they seem, at least, they weren't doing it in June, but now that the end of June is coming around,
Last night they go down 1-0 right out of the gate, and boom.
Last night was very indicative of the way this team works. If they can hit a couple home runs, they can win the game. If they don't hit a couple home runs, it's really touchy. So in the first inning, who got on? Yandy got on, Aranda got on, and Junior hit a 3-run home run. And this was after
Game over.
after Arizona had scored 1 in the top of the first. I think by the 8th inning, the Rays had 2 hits. That 3-run home run was 1 hit, and
that's
I think
true,
I
'cause
think
I was
Yandy
listening.
got-
I was
Yandy
listening to the
got-
broadcast,
Yandy
and they
got
brought
a
that up.
second hit. They're in the 8th inning, and they got 2 hits, and they're winning. I mean, that's really fairly amazing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh,
Now
yeah.
they went on to score a bunch of more runs in the 8th, which was nice, off of some pitcher who was having real trouble for Arizona. But we've got Yandy, who is an all-star, by the way. If he isn't an all-star, there's something wrong with it. He's leading the league in hitting.
Yeah.
The guy can pull the ball. He
He's
can
in.
hit the
He's
ball
in.
to the opposite field. He had 4 hits the other day, which is quite fabulous. You've got Aranda, who's a nice little hitter. Let's see what I got for
Not
Aranda
shabby.
here. He had 285 at-bats. He had 62 hits, and he had 44 walks. Now, with the analytics people, they want batters to walk. If you got a guy who can hit and walk, you've got a star player. And so people aren't noticing the walks because a lot of people don't care about the analytics. But he's got 44 walks in addition to his 62 hits, so this guy gets on base a lot.
Very valuable.
And following him is Caminero.
Yeah.
And Caminero right now, 298 at-bats. He's got more at-bats than anybody else. He's got 85 hits, 45 walks. He's hitting 285, and he's got 48 RBIs and 20 home runs. Now,
That's-
this is a
that's
star.
that's
this
an
is-
all-star, boys.
This is a star ball player.
Yeah, that's an all-star.
And that's your offense.
at 22.
Can I ask you a question about the offense, though?
Yeah.
And this goes back to
We
your,
got 8
your
minutes,
history.
boys.
Okay,
We got
yes,
8
sir.
minutes.
I love, and I get it. I grew up watching baseball where the lineup was the same lineup every time.
Yeah.
You talked about 3 hitters. Kevin Cash is bouncing this lineup a lot this year. Now, I like this because I'm always looking to, and then some of the mixes work better than others, but I think it gives this team a chance to keep the other team on their toes. Do you agree with that, or would you like to see more set
A
lineup?
lot of the changes have to do with whether the other team is throwing a right-handed pitcher or a left-handed pitcher. That is 82% of it all. The other part of it is which hitter is hot. Cedric Mullins, for instance, who was hitting about
He's been hitting nice lately.
112 in the first 2 months. I mean, he couldn't get elected. Suddenly in the last 3 weeks is hitting 260, 270. He had a home run last night. He's stolen a bunch of bases, and he's a spectacular outfielder.
He's a team guy too.
And
he's a
When,
team
when
guy.
I've seen the
Yeah.
games,
a
he's-
veteran.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
and
one
that's
of the
something the
few-
Rays need.
He's a veteran with talent. I mean, he just hadn't shown his talent in the first 2 months and a half.
Well, and when he does show it, as you said, he's a veteran,
Yeah,
and he's walking the walk when he's talking to these young
Yes.
kids. You're hitting 125. These young guys looking at you
Yeah.
like,
He didn't say
I
that.
don't need to hear from you, man.
Well, I should have rephrased that question. Does it bother you that Chandler Simpson bounces around the lineup so much? Is Kevin Cash trying to cover him to let him learn on the fly, or is that a strategic move?
I mean, I can't figure out whether Chandler Simpson belongs in the major leagues.
Ooh.
I mean, that's my problem. I mean, Chandler Simpson had no home runs.
God, I love his speed on the base pass, though.
Love it.
He's got 19 stolen bases. He's got 18 RBIs. I mean, 18 RBIs for all these games, it's not very much.
When he gets on, he impacts the game, but he doesn't get on it.
He's
no.
disruptive.
He's
Very disruptive.
Well, when he gets on, he's helpful, and he's a pretty good outfielder. He's not too bad, though he dropped one the other day. But I don't know. He's one of those guys who it seems to me that in a year or two the Rays are going to replace him with some other young guy.
Another speed demon.
Another
kind of
speedy guy.
It-
Yeah.
It would be so nice if his bat could improve in his fielding, because that speed is
it's electric.
disruptive, as we said. Yeah,
Right.
And electric, as you said.
No question about
When
it.
he gets on base, the fans are anticipating
Oh,
something's
yeah.
going to happen.
I mean, it's interesting. We got invisible players like DeLuca.
Yes.
You know, it's
We
like
missed
who-
him.
I like a good
Johnny D.
hardworking
Who is this guy?
Italian.
Hard-working Italian in the
He
back.
comes back after being out for 2 weeks, hits 2 home runs, helps us to win
Boom.
2 games.
Got us out of that swoon
Yeah.
pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you another question, though.
Yeah.
Bouncing around with this entire team, what else do you see about this team that's been a surprise this year besides the bunting? Is this the most bunting you've ever seen out of a Rays team, and do you love it?
Yeah, I love it because it's been effective.
Very effective.
Yeah, no,
Whatever
I
works.
love it a lot. It makes the game, for a fan at least, very interesting to watch.
Now, I've
I've
heard.
been saying that for years.
Small ball.
Yes, she has.
Let's go.
I will say this, and I'm not going to mention names, but there's been some detractors of Kevin Cash.
Well, that's part
It's a
of
great
being a
nickname.
manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crash
You know,
Cash.
all he's got to say is
He's
that
the
we
manager
have,
of the year.
We have the second best. The Rays have the second best record in the American League.
And
One
nobody
game
expect-
behind the Yankees.
They
One
anti-
game.
They had us the 4th or 5th, and I'm telling you right now, he'd be the MVP. He'd be the most valuable coach right now.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
I
You
do.
talk-
He's done a magnificent job with the pitchers, especially. Though what he's doing pitching this guy Kimbrel. Kimbrel's the only Hall of Famer to ever play for the Rays. Do you know that?
That's what he
You
said.
know that?
Yeah.
And yet he
Wait.
came in the other day. We had a
Wade
no-hitter.
Boggs.
He came. Oh please.
Eh,
I mean,
Whoa. Wade Boggs ain't a Hall of Famer?
Yankee-
3,000
Yankee
hits?
Pete over
I'm
here.
an all Yankee guy.
Oh,
Red Sox,
okay.
that's why.
All right, what about Crime Dog?
Wade Boggs and his.
He's a brave.
Wade Boggs and his chicken. And his girlfriend's on the bus. Come on.
Okay.
Anyhow.
I love Wade Boggs. I was just with him
Oh.
at an event. He can still slam about 25, 30 beers at the
Yeah,
track.
absolutely, yes.
My God.
He's a good guy. I'm just.
He's
Yeah.
a
I'm
Josh, and I
teasing.
know.
I'm
Yeah.
teasing you, Wade. I'm teasing.
How about
Well, we-
Longoria going into the Hall? You got your
Longoria
tickets already? You're going into the
Going
Rays Hall
into
of
the
Fame
Rays
and
Hall of
retiring your
Fame.
number.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious why that wasn't 10 years ago.
That's
Yeah.
what that's
I mean,
what I was wondering.
there is really one great player who has ever played for the Rays. You know, I'm not talking about Canseco, who was fantastic,
Yeah.
or Manny Ramirez, who played for us for a week
Yeah.
and was fantastic. Not talking about those guys. No. The greatest player to ever play for the Rays was Evan Longoria.
It made no
Yeah.
sense to
I
me
mean,
as
and
an
there's
outsider.
no number 2. You
Well-
can't tell me who number 2 is. That's
Well-
the funny thing.
What would have made me
Maybe
sick
Crime Dog.
would have made
Yeah.
me sick if it would have been scheduled last year and they would have did it at Steinbrenner Field.
That's
that
true.
would have
Good
made me
point.
sick. So we're back home. Let's do it right.
It
All
was,
right, gentlemen,
It
we-
was sick enough doing anything in Steinbrenner Field.
That's a mic
Damn
drop.
right.
Gee
we
whiz.
got to.
I love that.
We got to wind down. That's Peter Gollenbach. Peter, where can people find your vast library of books?
Well, they're
that
in
they
my
can-
office.
I'll be right over.
Oh, yeah, we'll
They're in
swing
my-
by.
Or you could go to Amazon if you like
There you go.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Tumble of Books?
Tumble Books. They're wonderful people down there.
I found the Bronx Zoo last night because
You
I
found the Bronx Zoo.
My last day at the city. I retired yesterday.
Wow.
35 years. So I was cleaning and I always had the Bronx Zoo on the desk at work. Now it's home with me. I'm going to read it again.
The
Got to
Bron-
keep reading.
The Bronx Zoo was the 1978 season. That book came out in 1979.
And the stories read
And it's still
today
still kicking
exactly
ass.
like you'd want them to.
That's
yes,
unbelievable.
Sir.
It
Yeah.
really.
That's a testament to you, my friend.
Sparky's still out there living his life in
What a pistol.
Western Pennsylvania, and he's doing just fine.
Good. Well, he's the great Peter Gollenbach. He's kind enough to join us from time to time. He's a regular on the show, and his lovely bride Wendy, and of course our mascot over there, Willie. And Wendy, you have access to any one of these hats in here, with the exception of my Joe Madden signed one. I don't think that one.
That
fit.
one didn't fit.
That one didn't.
That
fit.
did not fit her.
Even
But
with my male pattern baldness,
Oh, look
I'd
at
give
this.
my hat over here. if she
Joe
needed
Madden.
anytime.
I,
That's-
I didn't realize it was Joe Madden. I thought it was maybe
Right.
one of your high school
No,
football
no.
coaches.
I thought maybe you were run. She was heading home with Joe Madden. I thought you
She
guys
was
had
coming back, you know.
I
She
didn't
was
know.
coming back.
Go ahead, Ben. What were you going to
Remember,
say?
we were saying who's got the bigger dome. We were gonna see
Oh,
who's
we're
got
gonna
the
see
bigger
who's got
hat.
the bigger head. That's right. I know I got the biggest head. Gosh.
All right. Well, it's been an entertaining show. We had Rick Vaughn on for.
How's Rick doing?
He's doing superb.
Oh, great.
We had him on for about 40 minutes, and we got his book right here on the set as well. And I'm Mike Rickard for Joe Geiger, Ray Kennedy, baseball Ben Botham, Christian Sanchez. I tell you what, it's going to be rocking and rolling down here tonight at Ferg's. Of course, you got Diamondbacks and Rays 4:10 first pitch. What is it? 3
Columbia at 7:30.
That's
Columbia Soccer,
tonight.
US
So those two will be overlapping.
Not at all.
I'm surprised there's not a concert the way that Ferg operates.
He's got
at the
stuff
same
going
time.
on everywhere.
But there's always concerts after these games as well.
Yes.
Down here at Ferg Sports Bar and Grill, America's #1 sports bar, is rated by USA Today, and we're launching Ferg's TV next week. We'll talk more about that, and that'll be on Tuesday nights down here. And looking forward to being the production company of that. Peter Gollenbach, Chris Harvey, Rick Vaughn, Kristen Sanchez, as I said. Tristan and Jacob are incredible interns. Adam Fernandez, the director of video streaming, and Joe Bedreau up there, our good friend at RadioSt. Pete.com, Florida Sports Streams. Thanks for listening to the Tampa St. Pete Sports Connection, a Shipyard Sports Connection production, wishing you and your families a fabulous weekend. God bless you. God bless America. And as we celebrate America's 250th birthday, always be sure to have a championship week.